OK, bonjour tout le monde et bienvenue à notre réunion municipale de lundi le 29 septembre 2022. Je suis le maire de Côte Saint-Luc, Mitchell Brownstein. À côté de moi, c'est Lior Azarad, les conseillers Lior Azarad, Andy Schuster, Oren Sabag, Mitch Kajavsky, Dida Berku, Stephen Erdely, Sidney Benisri. Et après, c'est Mike Cohen, aussi notre gérant de ville, Jonathan Schechter, et Florine Abignay-Hu, notre... Non? Abinou? OK. Abinoway. Merci d'être avec nous, notre responsable pour le légal. Je vais commencer comme ça. Il y a des cols bleus qui sont ici aujourd'hui et je veux les entendre avant les autres. Les premières 3 questions que j'ai reçues sont des cols bleus. Après ça, je vais faire le reste de mon travail et on va continuer avec les questions, les autres questions après. Je demande premièrement pour Jean-Pierre. Oh non, je vais demander premièrement l'adoption de l'agenda.
Justice, devoir du souvenir, liberté culturelle et inclusion sont des valeurs chères à la ville de Côte Saint-Luc. Nombre de nos résidents et leurs descendants ont construit leur vie ici, après avoir fui des situations difficiles ailleurs. Le Canada a été leur refuge. Mais pour les peuples et les communautés autochtones, les politiques gouvernementales au Canada ont créé des injustices. The island of Montreal, where we are meeting today, has a much older name, Chokeshage. It was a historic gathering place for many Indigenous communities. It was also the site of diplomacy, including the Great Peace of Montreal. Nous remercions la nation Gagnou-Geaga, également connue sous le nom de la nation Mohawk, pour son hospitalité sur un territoire non cédé. We must acknowledge the past, so that we can move forward in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation.
Le conseil municipal de Côte Saint-Luc permet au public de poser des questions lors de ces séances du conseil, en français ou en anglais. Veuillez lire les procédures et les règles de la période de questions à l'arrière de la salle. Enfin, il est interdit d'utiliser un langage violent, offensant ou irrespectueux pour poser une question au maire.
The Côte Saint-Luc City Council allows the public to ask questions at its council meetings, in French or English. Please read the question period procedure and rules at the back of the room or at côtesaintluc.org. Finally, no person may use violent, offensive, or disrespectful language when addressing a question to the mayor.
Okay, so Mike, adoption of the mayor, please. Councillor Cohen.
I so move, Mr. Mayor, that the agenda be approved.
Seconded by Councillor Sabag. All in favor? Okay, the adoption of the agenda is approved. OK, so on va commencer avec les premières questions. C'est Jean-Pierre Lauzon. J'espère. J'ai prononcé ça bien. Merci.
Bonsoir à vous, Monsieur le maire, Mesdames, Messieurs les élus. Je vais m'exprimer dans la langue de Molière parce que la langue de Shakespeare, j'ai bien de la misère.
Avec plaisir.
Le 1er août, nous avons rencontré Mme Nadia Di Furia, directrice générale associée et directrice des ressources humaines, au bureau du syndicat. Nous lui avons remis alors une longue liste de problèmes à régler et elle s'est engagée à y voir, en plus de demander aux représentants de l'employeur, vos cadres et gestionnaires, d'être moins nonchalants lors de nos échanges. Or, depuis cette rencontre, silence radio. Pendant des semaines, aucun suivi, aucun retour, aucune réponse. Et comme par hasard, ce n'est qu'à l'annonce de notre présence à ce conseil que soudainement une pluie de retour nous parvient de l'employeur aujourd'hui. Ce soir, la thématique de nos interventions est claire, le respect. Le respect qui devrait exister entre une administration municipale et ses employés. Le respect qui manque cruellement lorsque des engagements pris devant nous se transforment en silence et que l'on ne semble réagir qu'à la menace de notre présence publique. Et franchement, c'est fâchant. Fâchant d'être déjà de retour devant vous, si peu de temps après la signature de la Convention collective. Cet accord devait nous garantir une certaine paix industrielle, une stabilité dans les relations de travail. Or, à l'appel l'encre séchée, nous constatons que les vieilles habitudes reviennent et que le climat de confrontation reprend le dessus. Ma question est simple, Monsieur le maire. Est-ce que l'école bleue doit vraiment se transformer en manifestant permanent et occuper systématiquement vos conseils municipaux pour que votre administration daigne respecter ses engagements? Est-ce que c'est ça votre vision des relations de travail? et du respect envers vos employés municipaux?
Merci pour votre question. Premièrement, je veux dire que tous les élus et moi-même, on a une bonne relation avec nos Côtes Bleues ici à Côte Saint-Luc. Je vois beaucoup des personnes qui sont ici. On se voit toujours au centre aquatique, partout. Je viens aux travaux publics avec mon petit-fils et il fait le Ring Around the Rosie avec eux. On a une famille, premièrement. Pour l'autre chose, on a travaillé avec, depuis que j'étais maire, c'est presque 10 ans, on a réglé tous les collective agreements, les ententes collectives, toujours, sans grève. On s'est fait. Ça c'est pas comment on travaille et on va le faire dans la prochaine convention collective, mais maintenant on n'est pas dans ce point. Maintenant, le problème, et je le connais bien, il y a des demandes pour suivi et vous voulez la voir. Et j'ai parlé avec Madame de Furia et elle m'a dit qu'au fin d'octobre, tout va être réglé. Il va faire le suivi de tous les pays qui sont dus à pour le pourcentage, le point c'est 1%, je pense, qui est réglé le plus tard l'octobre. Et j'ai travaillé avec Nadia depuis longtemps et j'ai beaucoup de confiance en elle. Mais elle a beaucoup de travail maintenant. Elle m'a assuré qu'elle va répondre et je vous remercie d'être avec nous aujourd'hui. Merci pour votre question.
J'ai une autre question pour finir. Nous sommes présents ce soir pour avoir des engagements clairs. Devons-nous comprendre qu'il faudra réserver systématiquement les prochaines séances du conseil afin d'obtenir ce qui devrait être la base de toute relation professionnelle, un dialogue sérieux, constant et respectueux? Je peux croire en vous, Monsieur le maire, mais ce qu'on nous compte, ce qu'on nous dit tout le temps, c'est pas ce qui arrive et ce que vous dites. Donc, est-ce que j'ai un engagement de votre part que ceux qui s'occupent des cols bleus vont tenir leurs promesses et qui vont régler les problèmes qu'on a en ce moment?
Oui, j'ai un engagement de Mme de Furia et vous avez un engagement de moi aussi.
Parfait, merci.
Simon Saint-Ange.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Monsieur le Président du syndicat aurait une pétition à vous remettre.
Est-ce que je la remets à vous?
Bon. Bonsoir à vous, Monsieur le maire, Mesdames et Messieurs les élus. Je me présente, Simon Saint-Onge, secrétaire trésorier du syndicat des Cols Bleus de Montréal. Ce soir, nous intervenons sur un thème qui revient sans cesse à Côte Saint-Luc, le non-respect. Non-respect de la convention collective, non-respect des relations de travail, non-respect des employés. Depuis la signature de la convention collective en avril 2024, des problèmes graves persistent. Pensons seulement au non-paiement des primes prévues, au déplacement unilatéral de la Fête du Canada en violation des horaires conventionnés, ou encore à une gestion quotidienne qui est, aux yeux du syndicat, de l'harcèlement psychologique. Tout cela mine profondément la confiance et alimente un climat de travail malsain. À cela s'ajoute la situation extrêmement troublante concernant. Est-il normal que plus de 75% des membres concernés aient signé une pétition réclamant son départ? Une telle proportion illustre un problème sérieux de gouvernance et de relations humaines qui ne peut être balayé du revers de la main. Ma question est simple, Monsieur le maire. Comment pouvez-vous justifier que malgré une convention toute récente, vos employés vivent encore de tels manquements, voient leurs primes non versées, leurs horaires modifiés sans consultation et subissent un climat de travail qui est, aux yeux du syndicat, de l'harcèlement?
Comme je vous dis, premièrement, sur la question de... C'est une question HR et je ne peux pas parler de ça. On a reçu votre pétition. Mais pour tous les autres, moi, je parle avec les cols bleus dans la rue tout le temps. S'ils sont pas contents avec quelque chose, ils sont au courant que je suis là avec mon air toujours ouvert. Ils peuvent me parler. Mais on vous entend. Et comme je vous avais dit, j'ai une assurance de Mme de Furia que un pourcentage qui reste va être calculé et payé avant la fin d'octobre.
Et est-ce qu'on peut avoir des engagements clairs? Et si rien ne change, qui assumera la responsabilité du découragement massif, de la perte de motivation et des conséquences directes sur les services aux citoyens? Qui assumera la responsabilité des agissements inacceptables de s'ils restent en fonction?
Pour la situation de la qualité de vie et que l'école bleue ont une bonne relation avec moi, avec le directeur de Madame Newman et tous les gérants, je ne vois pas, ils ne parlent pas à moi de ça et je le vois beaucoup de fois. Je viens avec muffins de la maire, je viens pour, il y avait un jour, il n'y a pas une barbecue, il y avait on a donné un prix à quelqu'un pour un bon travail il y a une semaine. Et toujours j'étais là, je parle avec ces gens que je le connais bien, ils me voient, ils peuvent me dire toujours, je ne dis pas vos noms, mais vous me connaissez bien, je suis là toujours pour parler, on a une bonne relation. Et j'engage de continuer ce que j'ai fait depuis 9 ans et demi, et je vais être là toujours pour mes Côtes Bleues. Je suis très fier et on a une famille, nous sommes une famille, et on veut que tout le monde est content. Pour moi comme maire, je veux toujours la qualité de vie, la joie de vie, que tout le monde est content. Et ça, c'est Mitch. So, je vais continuer de le faire. S'il y a des problèmes, parle à moi directement. Je vais travailler avec M. Schechter et on va trouver des solutions. Merci.
Merci.
OK. Ronald Choquette. Merci.
Bonjour à vous, Monsieur le maire.
Bienvenue.
Mesdames et Messieurs les élus. Je me présente, Ronald Choquette, directeur, District 5, syndicat d'école bleue regroupée de Montréal. Ce soir, la thématique de nos interventions est claire, Monsieur le maire. Le respect. Le respect qui devrait être au cœur de toute relation entre une administration municipale et ses employés. Or, ce respect fait cruellement défaut. Lorsqu'un principe aussi fondamental que l'ancienneté est bafoué jour après jour, car ce qui affecte présentement et très lourdement l'école bleue de Côte Saint-Luc, c'est le non-respect systématique de l'ancienneté. Autant dans l'attribution du travail quotidien que dans l'octroi des postes permanents. Comment justifier, par exemple, qu'un nombre disproportionné d'employés détient des qualifications arbitraires pendant que d'autres membres sont laissés à l'écart et plongés dans l'incertitude? Ce type de gestion ouvre la porte à des allégations d'harcèlement déguisé, entretient un climat de travail malsain qui mène directement au découragement d'employés fidèles, qui devraient être soutenus et valorisés. Et franchement, c'est fâchant déjà d'être de retour devant vous à peine quelques mois après la signature d'une convention collective qui devrait garantir une certaine paix industrielle. Cet accord devrait stabiliser les relations de travail. Or, nous constatons que les vieilles pratiques refont surface et que le climat se dégrade à nouveau. Ma question est simple, Monsieur le maire. Comment vos employés peuvent-ils se sentir encouragés et respectés lorsque l'ancienneté est piétinée et que les postes permanents sont attribués sans transparence et que le climat de travail se transforme en terrain fertile pour le harcèlement déguisé et le découragement?
Pour moi, j'ai l'information qu'on respecte la seniorité. C'est seulement qu'il y avait une possibilité d'une personne qui peut prendre la position qu'on trouve une autre. Parce que Nadia Defria m'a expliqué. Mais s'il y a quelque chose qui ne fonctionne pas, vous pouvez nous aviser par écrit et je vais le voir. Comme je vous dis encore, c'est une famille. Nos Côtes Bleues sont une partie de notre famille, les Côtes Bleues, les Côtes Blancs, tous les gérants. Nous sommes une famille et on veut que ça continue. Et la prochaine collective, on n'a pas commencé les négociations de la prochaine entente, convention, et on va le faire quand c'est le bon temps, qui va arriver bientôt. Et je suis certain qu'on va arriver, comme toujours, à une bonne entente.
C'est bon. Nous sommes présentement ce soir pour obtenir des engagements clairs. Et si malgré tout vous jugez que la situation est acceptable ou que rien ne résout une telle injustice, qui assumera la responsabilité d'un moral en chute libre, d'une perte de motivation généralisée et ultimement de l'impact direct sur la qualité des services rendus aux citoyennes et citoyens?
Moi, je vais essayer de continuer d'avoir une bonne motivation positive pour tous les cols bleus. Ils sont des membres de mon famille. Merci pour venir et pour votre question. Merci. We're going to go from that to the next thing, and it's going to be good. So I have a few announcements to make tonight, and before we go, and we have some more questions, but I wanted to get that over with first so that we'd have calm and peace and it wouldn't be noisy. And they came, and I hope that we answered their questions well and they feel that they've been heard. And we will do our best to ensure follow-up, and I'm happy that they arrived and we were able to answer their questions. Okay, so my first announcement, I have to bring it up. No, I'm gonna do question period next. I always do announcements at the top. I just push them back a bit. Okay, just push them back a bit because but I still want people to be here. If we don't do questions, if we do the question period, they're all gonna miss all the fun, Dida. And we got to do it. So yeah, you want me to do the question first? I don't think so. We're gonna do questions soon. We're taking a little break. So the first thing I want to say is that we had on September 19th our volunteer night, and it was great, and I want to appreciate all our volunteers and thank them for all that they do. It was a wonderful event. And I also want to say that we finished the show My Fair Zadie, and I was in My Fair Zadie, and it was a great show. It was My Fair Lady. It was a parody, and Ari Sterling wrote the show. She was She was in first year Bialik when I met her at first. She was in school with my son, and then she was in our Côte Saint-Luc Dramatic Society shows, and she was in Grease the musical. I played Teen Angel, and she was a beauty school dropout. And each day when I introduced the show, before the show went on, I gave this introduction and talked about how Ari was so brilliant with her idea to create a senior summer works program. That was one resident of Côte Saint-Luc that said, let's have this idea to create a senior summer works program. And we did. And for the last, 10 years or so, we've done these parodies that are written by Ari, and they're brilliant. And when she was the Teen Angel in Grease, I played Teen Angel, and she was the beauty school dropout. But in the parody Ointment that she wrote, which was brilliant, I played not a teenager, but an older angel to a bridge club dropout. And every day at the beginning of the show, and I'm going to calm us all down now, I had to say this, and I'm going to do it now, and it's going to be an opportunity for me to relax and for us all to relax. So this is what Ari Sterling wrote. A senior ne'er-do-well, most mixed up trickless layer in the flock. Her strategy's abysmal. Here, take this Pepto-Bismol. Sit down, I think it's time we had a talk. And this was one idea from one resident that's been going on for the last 10 years and getting the seniors on stage having fun. And that's what I want for everyone. And this is how it goes. Bridge club dropout. You know this game is not for you, bridge club dropout. Kiss all those tournaments at you. Well, at least you have some cooking skills. Just stick to your canadle, 'cause you wouldn't win a game unless you played it with a dreidel. Baby, don't sweat it. You're far too dumb to be a dummy. Better forget it. Don't even think of playing rummy. Now your odds are dust, your bets are bust. You've never learned the lingo. Wipe off that poker face and go back to playing bingo. So that's what I do to relax, and now we can have some fun. And I want to thank Ari Sterling for writing all those wonderful parodies and for creating My Fair Zadie, which was a great show, and we sold out. It's so well known now that we sold out before we opened, and people were coming to the door to buy tickets standby. So congratulations, and I want to thank my co-producers, Mitch Kajavsky and Andy Schuster, for all the work that they did on that show. I also, on a more serious note, I want to give a little update on hydro. So we have had issues with hydro, Quebec. They're doing a big project, and they are doing it as, in a certain way that is not totally to my satisfaction. So I had meetings with them because I felt that they were not giving us enough notice.
À la suite de notre rencontre le 24 septembre 2025, la présidente a réalisé notre décision concernant les futures lectures de territoire de conseil par la Québec comme cadre de projet Saint-Luc afin de saluer les aspects comme part des projets Saint-Luc. Afin de préavis de 3 jours, avec tout le monde de projection au cadre de cela permettra au personnel de la ville d'évaluer actuellement les impacts potentiels de collaborer avec
d'élaborer un plan de communication approprié. Us like, oh, we need to do this like next week. No, that doesn't work. We can't do this next week. We need 30 days so that together we can create a communication plan and ensure that residents are inconvenienced as little as possible. Afin de réduire la présence exercée sur certains quartiers, un seul projet à la fois sera accepté dans les secteurs adjoints. That means they made a request for to close lanes on Cavendish at the same time as they closed Haywood, and I said, no, you're not getting it. You're not getting any permit. First, we announced that it's happening, but then after I saw what was going on in Haywood, I was like, no, you're not getting it until you finish Haywood. When you finish Haywood and you open up Haywood, then we'll give you some lanes closures to work on Cavendish. So make your plans accordingly in an organized way so that it inconveniences the residents as little as possible. Because as we see, just with Haywood, it's a mess. People are backed up. It's a mess. We have to figure out what to do. We're going to have flagmen or people helping traffic at Kildare and Cavendish, but we're certainly not closing any lanes on either side. Bien que ce point n'était pas abordé, j'ajoute que nous insistons pour qu'un superviseur de Hydro-Québec doté d'un pouvoir décisionnel soit présent quotidiennement sur les chantiers sur notre territoire lorsque les travaux sont réalisés par vos sous-traitants. Récemment, trop de projets ont nécessité l'intervention de la Ville en raison d'une gestion déficiente. Entraînant des perturbations majeures pour nos résidents. Cela exerce une pression inutile sur nos ressources qui ne devrait pas être nécessaire. La gestion adéquate des chantiers relève de la responsabilité de Hydro-Québec. Pour tout projet ayant un impact significatif sur le voisinage, nous insistons pour que Hydro-Québec fasse appel à l'équipe de commercialisation de SPVM afin d'atténuer les problèmes de circulation découlant les travaux. So of course we can work ourselves and assist, but it is Hydro's responsibility, and we're going to be demanding that they provide supervision with the SPVM equipe. So hopefully things will move better. But listen, you issue a permit for one work, and then you find problems, as we see right now on the Haywood project, and you have to come up with solutions. And if you do more than one at a time, it's like impossible. So now we have to deal with the backup going north on Cavendish, and there has to be something that's going to be done with the assistance of Hydro and the SPVM equipe and ourselves at that corner of Kildare and Cavendish, and hopefully we'll be able to improve that situation and will not issue any permits for anything else until that project is complete, which is going to be a while. They say the work on Haywood is going to take until December, sometime in December. So that's the update on hydro. And then what is the last thing that I wanted to talk about? Security. Okay, so one last thing that I want to say. First of all, I want to wish all the candidates and all the members of council that are running for election well. We're in the election period, so we're not going to make speeches here about that we're running. I think you know who's running, and I wish you all well, those that are running. But what is not running? There's one that's not running. Dida Berku, she's not running. What? I'm so sad. Dida has been exceptional for the last 35 years. And she has moved forward so many projects, and she continues to be a force. She started getting involved because of Meadowbrook with, I remember, Kay Wolofsky and Schneiderman, Barbara Schneiderman, and they were at the council meetings and they worked together, and she got elected in 1990, and she pursued that dream, and she still continues with that dream of Meadowbrook, preserving it. It's a golf course now, and we want to conserve it. She's been fighting for Cavendish extension in a reasonable way, and she's fighting with that, and she wants to make sure that the next Montreal elected administration supports us like Detti Coderre did, so we can move that forward. And she's been a big advocate on so many other issues recently, on issues affecting the Jewish community and racism, anti-Semitism. We're going to talk about it more on the agenda later. But she's been a force to reckon with, and she thinks she's retiring, but I'm not going to let her really, because I have a lot of ideas in store for her, because we need her. We need her. A lot of residents move things ahead, and I don't look at her as a resident. I look at her as an elected official that will be a powerhouse, as a former elected official, and I will continue to rely on her for advice and guidance, as I do with many of those who have come before me. And thank you so much, Dida, but I'm going to have Daryl show something. I was looking through I know you're going to let me speak, but I was looking through a little bit of my stuff. So I don't know what you put together, Daryl. I send you some.
Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on a tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good.
A few words from Councillor Berku, and then we're going to go to question period. You get to go. You get to make the speech. Only you, because you're not running.
Thank you, Daryl. Wow, that's so nice. So I want to give a little speech, and thank you very much for this opportunity. So after Mayor, Council, Jonathan, Tanya, Daryl, who else? Lorraine, comment ça va? Ouais. Okay, merci. After much reflection, I would like to announce, I think I announced it last week, but this is my sort of official announcement, that I will not be seeking re-election this November. It is not that I'm retiring, the opposite. I am quite restless and very much looking forward to focusing all my attention on a few major files which preoccupy me very much. I'm now going to be an activist. And I intend, like I'm starting now, right? I intend to start by campaigning in Montreal on issues and for candidates that I support, because we need a major change in Montreal on many fronts, Cavendish, and certainly on countering hate and violence. These are my top priorities. It has been an honor to serve as your counselor since 1990 for over 30 years. I have dedicated myself to representing the people of Côte Saint-Luc and working towards making our city a better place for all of us. I have served as a counselor for my district, as a city councillor for the city, and as a leader of the majority of the City Council of Montreal during the merger years 2001-2005. I also served as a member of various island-wide commissions, such as the Environment and Contracts Commission, the Fireman Pension Committee, that was very boring, the CLD Economic Development Council, and in the past 4 years, I've had the privilege of acting as the Deputy Mayor in Côte Saint-Luc. As such, I've sat as a member of the Audit Committee, the Planning Advisory Committee, the Pension Committee, and more. Living Lab, Cavendish Project, Hydro Project. I mean, there isn't a committee that I don't like. Over the past 20 years, since the demerger under both mayors Housefather and Brownstein, it's 20 years, since 2005. I represented the city at the Association of Suburban Mayors and Municipalities, ASM, and the Agglomeration Council of Montreal. It has always been my goal to ensure the well-being of our residents while contributing to the growth of our wonderful community. I'm just going to switch for a second because I wanted to say something in French. J'ai pas tapé la chose. Attendez-moi une seconde. Sorry. Okay. Et, ouais, c'est ça. Moi, je l'ai déjà dit. Bon. So, the decision. Yes. This decision not to seek re-election has not been easy, as I have many projects and dossiers, old and new, to which I'm dedicated and which I will continue to devote my attention to, such as I mentioned before, Cavendish Extension, the preservation of Meadowbrook. Thank you, Mike, for giving me that opportunity to speak to the people at the golf dinner, and as well as the renewal and upgrading of the Blossom Tennis Facility. These are old and new projects. I think that they are going to be just great, and I hope I'll be able to still continue to contribute to them. Nevertheless, it is time for me to step back as city councillor for district and allow others to come forward. I will forever cherish the relationships I've developed with the mayors, especially Mitchell Brownstein, who has trusted me and given me many opportunities to pursue my goals and passions. I also thank the many councillors here present and those with whom I have served in our city and across the island. Here I have to mention my longest and most trusted collaborator, the Mayor of Saint Laurent, Alan de Souza. We go back to 1993, and I'm hopeful that he will once again lead his borough, but more importantly, be on the executive committee of the City of Montreal to steer the city back to where it should be. On this topic, I want to add that we have an exceptional tradition of collegiality and nonpartisan governance in the city of Côte Saint-Luc, which is rare and should always be preserved. As well, over the years, I've developed a deep rapport with each director and their staff, and this is something very, very special to me. The projects and accomplishments we have achieved together are too numerous to name here tonight. Their scope and variety are so broad, from composting to Bill 96, from Jane's Walk to Master Plan, from denouncing Montreal accounting gymnastics, yes, this one's for Angelo, to pickleball mats in the annex, from Smart City and Living Lab to briefs on safety and security, thank you, Daryl. These are all major projects to which I devoted my attention while collaborating in close proximity with the director in charge. In fact, I wrote up the list of projects in which I teamed up with the directors, and the list was so long and too detailed. So I have a very special relationship, and I hope that we will have the ability to and the opportunity to share more with them after the election, when we can take the time to relax and recount together. But I do feel it's very important for the public to know what a very special team we have here in Côte Saint-Luc. They're creative, they're able, and they're always willing to execute the wishes of mayor and council, which are sometimes not so easy to execute and pose great challenges, but that's the team we have. Also, I realize that my tenure over the past 35 years represents a major chapter in the evolution and history of Côte Saint-Luc, and my involvement in municipal politics, which goes way back to 1974. The many ways our city has grown is remarkable, and there's still much more work to be done. And many of the projects and files I've worked on are still ongoing, and I hope that I'll be able to continue to contribute to them. More importantly, I will always treasure the strong bonds and friendships I've developed with the residents of the city, and particularly those in my district and related institutions, including St. Patrick's Square, Merton School, TBDJ, and Sepharad Kol Yehuda synagogues. Finally, after 30 years, we're able to resolve the nonconformity, and they are now a legal and secure and safe and secure member of our community, and I'm very grateful for that. It was one great achievement. We are a very tight community in District 3. And having traveled extensively, I'm almost done. Having traveled extensively, I can positively say that we have one of the best and greatest cities in the world in which to live. We have the peace, harmony, and safe and green environment which most of the world strives to achieve. We should never take it for granted. On the contrary, we should fight to maintain a peaceful and safe community in Côte Saint-Luc and in Montreal, and this is another cause to which I will devote myself over the coming months and years. The level of hate and anti-Semitism we have experienced over the past 2 years is unprecedented, and we in Côte Saint-Luc must lead and rally all peace-loving communities on the island to bring back the harmony we enjoyed before the vile hate and violence poisoned our atmosphere. I will talk about this a bit more during the departmental reports as it is related with what transpired recently at the last AGLO meeting. Of course, I would like to thank my husband, Jacob. Thank you for being here. Just flew in from New York, and my kids for letting me fulfill my missions and passions. As you know, I'm very mission driven. Their support and backing always made the difference. Everyone knows, and this is the time that I have to say it, everyone knows that Ariel is the driving force behind my recent attention to recreational facilities. As this is my last speech from this podium, I want to be very frank and proud in saying that although he can be a little rough, Ariel is the one who pushed and obtained through his persuasion many achievements for Côte Saint-Luc. He's truly a sports maven, and he's truly initiated me to what sports facilities should be like. The glass backboards at Rembrandt basketball courts, the placement of the 2 basketball nets at Emerald and Singerman, the pickleball mats in the annex, these were all successful projects he researched, promoted, and pushed and pushed and pushed me in order to get it done. Although he was my harshest critic, I thank him, and I think the city can thank him as well for his contribution in making them happen. If we want to be trailblazers, as I always tell Cornelia, we have to be trailblazers. We must take risks and innovate. And I'm confident that this will happen going forward. In closing, I would like to thank all the residents for their trust and for allowing me the privilege to serve all these years. I look forward to seeing you in the months and years ahead as we continue to work together to make Côte Saint-Luc the best it can be. And just so you know, I'm not relaxing just yet. I'm in the midst of organizing a conference and meetup with the Montreal candidates in collaboration with the Cavendish Alliance, the Chamber of Commerce of Saint Laurent TMR, the Chamber of Commerce of the Sud-West, and other groups on Monday, October 6th. Joel, this is for you. Monday, October 6th. You will hear all about it, and I hope that we can finally move forward with this Cavendish project. Thank you. Now we can go.
So we're going to talk about the other stuff later.
We'll talk about the
Yeah,
other
drink-
stuff
oh,
later.
Okay, thank you so
Because
much.
the mayor and I had fun on the.
Oh, we
Thursday
had fun.
Aglo.
The next question goes to Alan Levine.
Thank you and good evening, Mr. Mayor. Dida, congratulations on your years of service and thank you very much for all of your service. Mr. Mayor, I'm running for city council because I care about the citizens. I care about their safety. I think we can improve our emergency preparedness plan and I'm prepared to give the time and the effort along with volunteers like Glenn Ashen who volunteered to help me to restore it so that we can be sure that we have safety within our community, from the tracks, from the weather, etc. Now, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to tell you that also, I am running because I am a Jewish activist. I wear the ribbon because I don't believe Hamas wants to negotiate a Palestinian state. I think they want us to go from the river to the sea, and that's the end of it. So I fight and I'm there at a lot of places. I'm there visibly and for the citizens and for rights. Could I ask my city councilor a question? Because she is my city councilor.
She's absolutely willing to respond, but the question should be directed to me. If she wishes to respond, she can.
Okay, so you know, I'm at the Jerusalem Day. I'm at the raising funds for Jewish Family Services. I am at the funds for the BBS Memorial. Even I'm at the Human Rights Walkway. I'm on the city streets. I'm at the baseball. I'm at the hockey. I'm at the pickleball. I'm at the tennis. I'm on the streets every day. I want to know why my city councilor, I never see at them. Even if something as sacred as the Human Rights Walkway.
That's a little out of order, please. That's out of order.
Is that out of order, Mr. Mayor?
It is out of order. It is out of
Well,
order.
she was supposed to represent the city.
It's out of
Isn't she
order.
supposed to
That's
be
not a
there?
question. That's not a question for city council. It's out of order. It is out of order. I'm not even going to answer it, and for sure she doesn't have to answer it. It's out of
Well,
order.
do you want to answer it?
No, she doesn't. It's out of order.
Mr. Levine,
You don't have to answer that.
if you want to have a discussion with me about my involvement in the city, I'm happy to have that discussion with you. But I will not have my reputation called into question at a city council meeting. It's
I'm not
completely
talking about your
inappropriate.
reputation. I'm talking about your
I
actions.
think you're done, Mr. Levine.
Alan,
Thank you.
Alan,
Thank you.
That was out of
Okay.
order. So that's it. No,
Okay,
your time is
Okay,
up.
when
Your time is
all
up.
right, am I allowed to supplement the question? Or I just want to ask
Supplemental
you,
to that
you
wasn't a
know,
question.
the city council made a decision to limit the contracts. And yet you see today that the blue collars are not happy. Do you have a backup plan if the blue collars decide to go to strike if in the middle of a snowstorm?
Okay, well, first of all, the people that were here today and the three that spoke were not our blues. They were all from the union downtown, all three of those that spoke. I know all the guys in the back. They're not so unhappy. And if I would understand what was going on from my perspective, is they're running for re-election, these guys. So they're going to Côte Saint-Luc, they're going to Westmount, they're going to Pierrefonds, they're going to downtown Montreal, and they're showing their members that they're tough, and that's fine, good for them. But I don't say that our Blues are not happy. We're always available for them. I don't think I need a backup plan at this point for a strike because we didn't even start negotiations yet, and there will be good negotiations, I guarantee you. Thank you. The next questioner is Norm Sabin.
Good evening. First, I want to say I don't have any contract to renegotiate. So that's one thing. Dida, thank you for your service. I've always enjoyed interacting with you. It's been a pleasure. I just want to say a few words about the Cavendish extension and then make a suggestion for another traffic study. You know, of all the projects that can be happening in Côte Saint-Luc in the next 25 years, nothing really compares to the Cavendish extension. If that were to go through, the benefit for Côte Saint-Luc could be huge, you know, in terms of traffic, in terms of business investment, socially, getting to the airport, all sorts of things. So it's a really huge deal. So just wanted to make a few comments about that. You know, Luc Rabin, who's the successor of Albert Plante, was on CJAD 2 weeks ago on the Aaron Rand show. And Aaron asked her, well, what about the Cavendish extension? Asked him, and what he said was, well, it's a complicated dossier because there's train tracks. You know, after 50 years and 2 elections in 2017 and 2021, and Projet Montréal promised us that they would do the extension, that this was the answer we got from him. Now, you know, you always have to assume the worst case scenario. And the worst case scenario, at least for Côte Saint-Luc, is that Projet Montréal is reelected in November. As much as we don't want to see that, we have to think about that a little bit and plan for it. And one of the things I wanted to recommend, because I know you do traffic studies, you know, you've done them on the Carré Square, is you know, you have to ask yourself, why is it that Projet Montréal is so against Cavendish? Why do they keep delaying it? Why do they give us all these, you know, all these diversions and all these type of answers, you know, and promise and never go through with it? You know, one reason is that, of course, it doesn't really benefit their leadership. Nobody lives in Côte Saint-Luc or Hampstead from Projet Montréal. So for them, it's really not an issue in terms of their personal lives. But probably more importantly, for them, it's all about the environment. You know, it's all about protecting it and less cars and less pollution. So what we can do to try to counteract that and give them some sort of, you know, response is to do a study to show that if we do have the Cavendish extension, we're going to have less greenhouse gas emissions. I think that's in a study that hasn't been done. I don't know if it's ever been discussed at council, but I think that's a study that might have to get done in the near future, because if we can show them, you know, if Cavendish is open, that we will reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, that's something they can't really, you know, have a good rebuttal for. And, you know, that because that's what they're all about. You know, they're about the environment and protection. You know, to drive from here to IKEA, you know, if you started right here, it would be about 1 kilometer to go up north on Cavendish. If you go along Fleet and up to Carey and around through Highway.
I think it's a good question. I think I know the question. It's a good question. Are we going to do that type of traffic study? I don't know if you want to speak about it. I know you're environmentalist and she's leading the project on Cavendish. So, and it's her last meeting, so you certainly can speak about it. But of course, we've been pushing for, and I hope the right party gets elected that is in favor of the Cavendish extension. And we know which one that is so far.
Right.
Councilor Berku?
I want to add, there's no reasoning with them. They don't give us reasons. The only arguments they give us right now is that they have to prioritize the Hippodrome. And for the Hippodrome, Jean Talon is the primary egress and access. Then there's Devonshire, and then the fire department, thankfully, gave them a requirement that they have to find a third route. And so now they're coming up with all these, you know, impossible routes. But we have to go back to the original proposal, which was made in 2022, which was to wrap around the yards and connect up to Cavendish. Clearly, the Cavendish extension is going to be a rapid transit corridor. You know, you can catch, you know, you can get a coffee on Monkland, you can catch a bus, you can stop at Cavendish Mall and go to Dollarama, and the next stop is Royalmount. I mean, you can do all this in like literally 5 minutes, right? Because from Cavendish here to Royalmount's going to be under 5 minutes. And so you won't need to take your car. And so definitely there's an environmental argument for it.
Yeah.
But all those studies have been done. It's really,
and we're in favor
they've all been done.
and we're in favor of the proposal for rapid transit, bicycle lanes, and limited lanes for cars.
Yeah.
We understand that, and that's the proposal we've been pushing through all the way along.
You know, if there was a Cavendish extension, you would have a bicycle path that would cross the CP rail yards for the first time. Is there any other way to cross it?
We have 250 employees from CAE that have a group called Vélo Boulot. And today I received their plans. I'm going to show them on Monday, October 6th, because for them to bike from LaSalle, Lachine, all the way to CAE is a very long stretch, right? So they could go up Cavendish, it would be much more efficient. And this is all part of the whole plan. Yeah. So I'm, you know, if you want to see it, I can share it with you. But we
Yeah.
definitely explored all these arguments.
Thank you, and I appreciate your expertise when it comes to traffic. You're one of our regulars. I appreciate it. Thank you. Jamie Fabian.
Madame Berku, conseillère Berku, je veux vous remercier pour votre décennie de service. Vous avez vraiment bien servi la ville. Puis je pense qu'on est tous gracieux ici pour tout le travail que vous avez fait au cours des dernières et plusieurs années en termes de Cavendish, en termes de la sécurité publique, en termes de plein d'affaires. So I want to say thank you for that. And I also wanted to say that I hope I can continue your legacy because I've announced it already, but I will be seeking election in District 3. And I think that, well, as myself, I'm a student at McGill, and I've sort of taken the leadership under the leadership wing of Dida, where I've fought against anti-Semitism. I fought the encampment. I was vocal in every single thing that I've done in terms of fighting hatred and protecting the things that make Côte Saint-Luc the city that it is. And why does that relate to Côte Saint-Luc? Because Côte Saint-Luc is fundamentally a city built by immigrants, as so much of this country was. Côte Saint-Luc is a city that has taken pride in its diversity, and it's something that needs to be protected. And that's something that I want to continue to do. And it goes beyond that in terms of the Cavendish extension. I want to continue the fight. That fight started long before I was born, probably some point around the time my parents were born. Maybe I'm naive, but I want to give it a shot. I want to make Côte Saint-Luc an accessible city. As a young person, I know that we have challenges in Côte Saint-Luc on trying to make it accessible and an attractive place for young families to settle. And that's something that I want to prioritize by accessible transit through bike lanes, more options of communauté, and just making Côte Saint-Luc a sport and park-friendly city where people can raise their children. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Rebecca Valerie Molina. I hope I pronounced it right. Thank you. Welcome.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I'd first like to wish you all a very happy and healthy new year.
Same to you. Thank you.
Easy and meaningful fast coming up. So my name is Rebecca Valerie Molina. This is my husband, Benjamin Moyusef. So we are residents of Côte Saint-Luc. We built our home on a pie-shaped lot, which created unique constraints, including strict city regulation requirements. On top of that, due to our builder's bankruptcy, we were dragged into a lengthy litigation and faced significant financial constraints to save our home. All of which meant that completing our property took several years. Only now have we been able to properly plan the landscaping. Our dream vision has always been to create thoughtfully designed garden living spaces in our backyard, areas for dining, lounging, reading, and entertaining, because we truly see our outdoor area as an extension of our home. The design is unified. It's a paved garden space connected by small pathways. Is that for me?
Okay, it's supposed to be 3 minutes, but it's okay. Go a little bit more. What? Oh, it's important. I don't think you got to 3 minutes. It's supposed to be the last person. He was very quick. Go on. And start again, but yeah.
Sorry. So the design is unified. It's a paved garden space connected by small pathways, allowing us to enjoy both shared family activities and moments of quiet solitude. It is therefore not a matter of building separate disconnected patios, but rather of creating a single harmonious landscape environment. All of this, of course, while fully respecting the city's requirements on greenery ratios and property.
What's the question? I'm waiting for the question. I don't know the
Getting
problem.
to the question, I would just like the opportunity to.
What is it?
I'd like the opportunity to just.
Oh yeah, go
give you
ahead.
the-
You'd like to use your yard in a better way. I'm catching that. Go ahead.
So I'm getting to it. Thanks. So when applying for a permit, we were advised that under a current bylaw, only one patio is permitted in the backyard. From the outset, I must say that I have difficulty understanding the rationale behind this limitation. On the one hand, homeowners are permitted to use a portion of their lot as a non-greenery space. Yet on the other hand, the bylaw in question restricts how the space can be designed and enjoyed for purposes of realizing a garden design that allows for a variety of family activities. So in our case, the bylaw seems to be interpreted and applied in a way that characterizes our design as though it were made up of separate disconnected patios. In fact, it should be properly be understood as a single garden patio and unified by its interconnected layout. While it is not a perfect square or rectangular shape, it is one continuous space and should not be treated as multiple patios. By interpreting otherwise, the city is effectively requiring us to compress all of our reasonable family uses into a single patio area. So my question to the council is this: why would you be able to assist us in finding a way to accept our unified landscape garden with interconnected living spaces while still fully complying with the greenery and zoning requirements?
Have you made an application yet?
Yes.
You have? Okay, has it
Yes.
gone to town planning, Councilor Kujawski? Do you know? We haven't seen it, and there hasn't been, I'm not aware of it.
I'm sorry, did
but the
we make
problem-
an application for the permit?
Oh,
or
for
something?
the permit, and it was not accepted, the permit?
Well, it's not that it wasn't accepted, it's just that there seems to be a lot of backlash on the fact that they're interpreting it as multiple patios. And, you know, sorry.
I mean, before we get the, I mean, you get the permit, you make the application, it goes to the town planning commission. What? If it's a minor exemption, but I mean, they have to get, do you have,
I'm not sure if it's a minor exemption because the person that answered me told me there are no exceptions to what I'm asking for. So that's why I'm, you know, before I start going into like a, you know, a full debate over it or whatever, I want to understand if there's a way that I can seek the council's help on this, because I really don't, at this point, after 7 years of honestly going through hell, trying to finish my home and battling litigation nonstop with a builder that went bankrupt and left us completely in a mess. I don't feel like going up against the city. So I'm told right off the bat, there are no exceptions. This is the way it is. And I'm like, well, hold off a second. That's, you know, that's not the way I'm looking at things.
well, like I said, I don't see the project in front of me, so I'm not really able to comment on the problem. But we know that Councilor Kujawski is in charge of the file of urban planning, and of course, we'd be happy to look at it and then give our recommendations on what could be done in coordination with staff, maybe a little at a higher level than the people you've been speaking to, and see if there's something that can be modified, changed, or adapted. I don't know if it's a minor exception possibility, if there's changes to your idea that would work for you, because I don't have the plan before me, but
Mr.
I'm
Mayor,
certainly
am I
happy.
able to
Yep.
say something, please?
Sure. Do you know any more
Yes.
details about this?
Yes, so they're my constituents, and I visited them twice, and I visited them yesterday and had extensive stay in their magnificent backyard. You know, I mean, I've been a counselor for 20 years, and I know our PAC committee and our urban planning staff work effectively very well, and they follow the rules by the book. But this one kind of surprised me because first off, it's they had to build their home in a very, very strange configuration, if you will. And if I'd love Councillor Kujawski to go visit it and see for yourself. I couldn't tell. I mean, the way it was designed, it was one pathway to me with connections. And I think that there, in something like this, there should be a minor exemption. I don't think we should be making life so difficult for someone who's doing something in their backyard. I mean, this is our backyard. And by the way, it's a magnificent backyard. The grass is going to go on the side. And apparently urban planning has said that's the side. It's not part of the backyard, but it's fenced in. So I think this is a very unique case. And I know Councillor Erdely. Okay, yes, but I'd like him to listen. I'd like him to listen. I'd like him to, it's hard to concentrate when another conversation is going on. So I would like people to see it because, you know, I know this council has always, you know, we go by the book. We have to make sure that people follow our laws, but we also don't want to make life miserable for people in their homes who are trying to beautify their homes. And in this particular case, I think we need to have some human feelings here to know what they've gone through. And I heard their story and it's terrible and they've come through it and they're beautifying their backyard. I mean, I lived in a backyard, you know, in Wentworth for many, many years. And, you know, we did certain stuff. So I just think that I'm asking, I think a senior manager from urban planning should go there and see them. And I hope there could be a compromise. That's all. Okay.
Okay. Councillor Cohen, I think the recommendation is for a higher level staff to check it out. I don't know if Councillor Kajewski has anything else to say. But
Yeah,
there are steps, there are exceptions that are made in circumstances. Right now, we don't have the application in front of us. Councillor Kajewski?
yeah, so, well, I like to think I have human feelings, first of all. Yes, there's that. But it sounds to me, if I'm being frank, it sounds like perhaps miscommunication. I suggest we perhaps reset and speak to our city staff. We can set up a meeting with Metro Schechter, our city manager, and we can see how we can move forward on this, because there are minor exemptions. There are always exceptions. We always take it under advisement as a council, and if something is reasonable and doesn't set a bad precedent, we'll look at it. And there are minor exemptions that are adopted by council. So,
And from the satellite view, it looks like a beautiful home with a lot of a regular shape, but there's a lot of green space potential there. So I'm sure you want to use it well. So let's look at it with a higher level person to see what can be done and how it could be arranged to benefit you and your quality of life.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time.
Monique Assouline. Welcome.
Hello. First of all, congratulations, Dida. You've outlived so many mayors. You are probably as great as every mayor that's been here and probably even better. So
Better,
you could probably
definitely
teach the
better.
course. Anyway, hi, my name is Monique Assouline. For those who don't know me, I'm a lifelong Côte Saint-Luc resident. I believe we all want what's best for our city. When residents come forward to challenge or question decisions or decide to run for council, it should be welcomed as an opportunity to improve Côte Saint-Luc and not viewed as adversarial. With the elections coming up, I applaud all those who have decided to run and I wish them well. That brings me to my questions, and it's about traffic, which you already brought up. The main exit point, Cavendish Fleet, has been heavily impacted by all those lane closures. Oops, 1 second, sorry. By all those lane closures and construction. Will the construction be finished this fall, or will it start again in the spring? And how will we alert all the residents again that there are these lane closures? Because as you know, it's one of the only exits we have, and there was no security. And you mentioned earlier we should get security to be there and direct traffic at peak times, yet so many times they were not there. So I'm wondering if we can be a little bit more proactive with that. I don't know who's in charge about that. And then on the way back into Côte Saint-Luc, Cavendish and Kildare, there are 3 lanes, right? There's one that goes left, that's automatic, and the one on the right has to turn right. Because there's so much pileup, the ones that are forced to turn right, that sign should be covered so that people who are in the right lane can alleviate the first 2 sides that are backing up all the way almost to Haywood, so that they can go straight on the right lane. I don't know why, this is not rocket science. Who's in charge? Why hasn't this been done yet? And that's pretty much my question. It's not really, it's more of a rhetorical question, but to please look into that.
Okay.
And I didn't realize tonight was a night of coming out and, for council. I'm not coming out for council, but Dida mentioned nonpartisan on staff. You mentioned that in your speech. But yet, as we all know, and I was not going to bring this up except for the fact that that was brought up, we all know that the person that was handpicked to replace you was placed by the current federal leader. And I find that to be not nonpartisan. So that's just my point. That's it. Have a great night.
No, I don't know. I think the 2 candidates that I know that are running in that district for Dida's seat are both good individuals. I respect them both and I wish them well. And I think all the candidates that have presented themselves so far are independent of mind and spirit, and they want to do what's in the best interest of the city of Côte Saint-Luc, and I wish them all well. I think we have a good selection for those who have decided to contest councillors that are holding their seats, and also the district that Dida is vacating. All the candidates seem exemplary, and I wish them all well. They're good people. In terms of the issue of traffic, I think, as stated earlier, we have to fix the problem. But we see the problem as it arrives. It's nice to have a crystal ball and know in advance what to do, but sometimes you don't. So that's why, first of all, we had to put up our own sign saying, you can go to Mount Sinai, but you can't go to Haywood, it's blocked. And that was a city sign that we put up because people were making a mistake and then turning around, and it was causing more traffic. And now we see that because people are starting to obey that sign, which is good because we don't want them illegally turning around and getting into an accident when they see they can't get into Haywood. There's more traffic that is on Cavendish going north, and the situation at that corner of Kildare and Cavendish has to improve. So we're looking at Flagman. I like your other suggestion. I'll bring it towards our traffic people to see if it could be arranged that you can go straight or right at that corner, because going right, I think, does make even more backup. And we do have, I was there at 4:45 today. I was trying to come to City Hall, so I got backed up. And what did I do? I went in the right lane because that was the one that was moving. I turned right, and luckily for me, because I was going to City Hall, I went into the parking lot in the back of City Hall and I got there. But for people who want to keep on going straight, that is something that we should also consider changing for the duration of the project, which will go, as I said, until December. We don't know exactly the date, but sometime in December. And then this whole project goes on for at least 5 years, the renovation of the substation and all the pylons and everything. It's 5 years. And that's why at the beginning of the meeting, I explained the restrictions that we're going to put on hydro and the way we want to collaborate with them in a positive way to ensure minimum impact to residents. The next questioner is Annette Marciano.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for a great evening today. I wanted just to say that the blue collars, hearing their concerns and knowing that we validate their voice is a very good place for them to be. And I was very happy that we're respecting them in this way. That's the first point. The second thing is, I know that we mentioned Cavendish opening and it's happening and the negotiations are going on. I just wanted to know if there's any deadline, any defined date for when it is happening.
The Cavendish extension?
Yes.
With this administration, they don't want to move it forward. We're hoping with another administration, there are like Ensemble Montreal has stated that they would support the Cavendish extension if they're elected. The present administration is looking for other routes that just don't make sense. The Hippodrome, the fire department said they must have another exit out. So Cavendish extension is the only logical one, but they're coming up with these crazy ideas that just don't make sense. So hopefully, I just hope that the next administration is one that doesn't look just for bicycles and really realizes the benefit for the Hippodrome itself, that Cavendish extension is the only way.
So
it's not happening with this administration. Let's hope the next administration is elected that supports it. I know.
And they're going through change in administration right now.
Well, November 2nd, there's an election, and I know Ensemble Montreal is running, and Dida was talking about Alan D'Souza and many others that are running for that seat. Sonny Morose, Leslie Roberts, who's a big supporter of many causes that are also close to my heart. So if they get elected, things will change.
Okay, so the election of November 2nd is not just Côte Saint-Luc, Hampstead, it's also
all the cities in Montreal.
All the cities in
including the city of
Montreal.
Montreal.
Okay, perfect. So we'll be waiting on that. The other point I had is I live on Cavendish and on Haywood. They're now doing, they're opening a road. It's Hydro-Quebec work. I just wanted to know if you can expand on what they're doing exactly. So it's on Haywood facing Mount Sinai Hospital.
What is exactly the word in the project? Details. You want to give it? Putting wires underground and working under fixing wires that are underground.
I can speak
They're
to
not
the
building a road.
project.
They're not building a road.
I can speak to the project in general, not the specifics of what they're doing on Haywood. As has been previously discussed, over the next 5 to 10 years, Hydro-Quebec will be replacing all the high tension power lines that go in and out of Côte Saint-Luc directly to the substation that is behind Mount Sinai. Right now, it's called actually the Hampstead substation, but it will be renamed with a new version called the Côte Saint-Luc substation, as it is in Côte Saint-Luc. But part of that is going to be to redo all the lines that are underground leading out of that station. So in the vicinity of that station, there's underground several main lines that branch out. And it's, if you can imagine, a bit of a spider web under the city. And the spider web with the center being the substation, and that supplies power. So that substation supplies power, everything, pretty much everything west of the Carry, sort of south, let's say up to about Jean Talon, north of Saint-Jacques, and going to the 20. So all that is supplied from the substation that is right behind Mount Sinai. So there's a lot of work to be done. I can't speak to the specifics other than they have to do preparation. And then again, there'll be a new substation, new high tension power lines. The nice thing in the end is we'll have less power failures. In Côte Saint-Luc, we've had quite a lot of power failures, more than other parts of the city, because that substation goes back to 1955. So if you think about that for a moment, it's about 70 years old. And in like the lifetime of a substation, it's beyond, it's beyond its life. That's why with the new substation, new high tension power lines, we'll have more dedicated power, especially with more people switching to electric vehicles, electric heating, phasing out combustion, internal combustion engines, and home heating through oil as well.
And the Haywood closure is to look for underground conduits. They're working on underground conduits, electrical wiring that's underground, and they're digging it out, working there to repair it and improve it and replace it. And then they want to move to the next stage, which would be on Cavendish, which they'll do after they finish the Haywood one.
Perfect. Thank you very much. That was very helpful. Thank you.
Okay. So are there any online questions? We don't have any other questions? No? Okay. So if that's it for the questions, we'll move to the next item on the agenda, which would be approval of the minutes. Councillor Cohen. Moved by Councillor
Yes,
Cohen.
Mr. Mayor, I so move.
Seconded by Councillor Sabag. All in favor? Anyone opposed? That's carried. Then we go to any business arising from the minutes. Then the monthly departmental reports. Councillor Berku. No? Okay, so it's departmental reports, financial information technology systems. So Councillor Kajewski, you want to move that?
Yeah,
Seconded by Councillor Azarad. And then we go to, that's the departmental reports, financial information. Yeah. So that moved and seconded, all in favor. Not in favor, I mean, discussion. Discussion and then all in favor. So, okay. Go for the first one, financial information technology services.
We're still doing reports.
Yeah, so there's a bunch to talk. So I was just having the mover and seconder do that. But who wants to talk first? I know you want to talk later. So who wants to talk first? Councillor Erdely.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I should say there's very little in the reports because just to remind the members of the public, so we're meeting early this month. We're meeting, I should say, the second time. So all that to say, the reports are really just a portion of a month, so not so much data. But I actually wanted to speak on 2 points. One, with regard to the new evaluation role. So this is to remind residents that the new evaluation role is now out. Anyone can go to Eval Web, Montreal, and you type in your address and you can find out your new evaluation. Luckily, the increase in evaluation for the homes in Côte Saint-Luc is below the average, which is a good thing. But I want to just give everyone a sense that on October 9th at 7 p.m., there'll be a public information session. This is something we do every time there's a new role. So again, October 9th, 7 p.m. at City Hall. It'll also be live streamed. Most likely, Daryl will take care of that. Thank you, our Director of Communications. So I urge residents who have questions, want more information about the new evaluation role, please come out to hear more about it. And you could also, of course, get information online. I want to take a moment to speak about Councillor Berku just briefly. I know we're already around 9:20, so I won't go too long other than to say how lucky I have been. It's been 20 years that I've had the pleasure of working with Councillor Berku. I remember when I first came in and I saw some pictures, I had a few less gray hairs. But really, Dida took me under her wing and has been really my mentor for the last 20 years. And I truly appreciate that. You set me on a right path. You taught me the importance of being persistent. You taught me how to be politically savvy, to speak up when I needed to, and to be quiet when I also needed to as well. And the importance, of course, of how to maneuver within the city of Côte Saint-Luc and within the city of Montreal and the agglomeration. And you forever will have set the tone for the council, for myself and councillors for generations to come. You have been a councillor for more than 25%, more than a quarter of the life of the city of Côte Saint-Luc. and your legacy will be felt for many, many years to come. So I just want to take a moment to thank you for all you've done for me personally and for the city as a whole. Thank you.
Department reports, who's next? Councilor Azra.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So just since it's the last official council meeting, colleagues, neighbors, friends, as this council term comes to an end, I want to take a moment to thank everyone for their trust in me to serve. I would like to reflect on 3 points. First, that the recent horrifying killing of Charlie Kirk on University campus passed without reminding ourselves what happens when civil discourse in society breaks down. Even though this event took place in the United States, these Montrealers, Quebecers, Canadians have seen in recent years all too often the breakdown of civil discourse in our universities and in our streets, aided and abetted by the inaction of institutions and politicians. Earlier this year, I introduced a resolution condemning the rise of anti-Semitic incidents and harassment on university campuses here in Quebec, specifically calling on universities to adopt clear policies, protect students, ensure freedom of speech, create safe environments for dialogue. This resolution was not merely symbolic. It urged provincial and federal authorities to take stronger action to prevent hate-based intimidation and to hold institutions accountable when they fail to act. Passing this resolution was one of the many red flags being waved as a warning and a wake-up call to what could transpire here if we continue to allow the permission structures of violence. This commitment to civil discourse must be practiced at every level in our community, in the city, in our neighbors, between institutions, and right here in our city council chamber, between the public and their representatives, and in the responses to our constituents. Our community must remain vigilant in rejecting hate, division, and extremism wherever it comes from. Secondly, on a personal note, although at the start of this mandate, I was a new councillor with so much before me that I had to learn not only about the city, but having an opportunity to see matters from the other side of the chamber, I endeavored to work very hard. I have worked amongst my council colleagues to speak with clarity, fairness, and honesty, even when it has meant being in the minority on an issue. I thank my fellow councillors for welcoming me into this group of representatives. I'm proud of my contribution. I also recognize that more change is needed if we are to rise to the challenges ahead. Enfin, je tiens à exprimer ma profonde déception et mon inquiétude quant au fait que nous n'ayons pas réussi d'adopter le plan d'urbanisme d'après plus de 4 ans de planification et $1 demi-million de provenance des contribuables. L'obligation légale de déposer un plan directeur représentait à une occasion cruciale de tracer un avenir plus solide, plus durable et plus réfléchi pour Côte Saint-Luc. Son absence laisse un travail inachevé très coûteux. Et je ne peux qu'espérer que le prochain conseil municipal prendra en sérieux la responsabilité d'achever cette tâche et de le faire avancer. Côte Saint-Luc ne peut tout simplement pas être laissé. Thank you again to my colleagues, city dedicated staff, and most of all to the residents for entrusting me with the privilege of serving you. It has truly been an honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Azra, and I'd like to make comments because I certainly appreciate your involvement in council, and I think that we've done a great job at finding consensus on many issues. And when we disagree or weren't sure where to go, and you came up with certain ideas, and we such as, and that was your move in terms of bringing forward the resolution about Cardi's position on the Palestinian recognition of the Palestinian state. I, as mayor, along with other members of council, worked together to back that, and we passed it together unanimously. And that's what we do. There were some issues with respect to places of worship that had to be regularized, and we worked on that together. And we've come a long way, having 4 areas now where they're safe and respected by the community, and they can pray safely. They have all the rights. The neighbors have all the rights to treat them as institutions, and they have the right to go in areas that are soundproof, have sprinkler systems, and are safe for them. So there's a lot of issues, and it's all been done in a spirit of collaboration. And it's been great working together with individuals that come from different backgrounds, different political backgrounds at other levels, but yet we work in the municipal level together to ensure that all issues are handled one by one based on what's in the best interest of the city of Côte Saint-Luc. And as a team, we've done it all well, and I'm proud of each and every one of you. And I think those that are elected from the existing council and any new candidates, we will continue in that way to work together as collaborators, as independent collaborators with independence of mind, bringing Côte Saint-Luc forward in a positive way. So thank you for your time of service for the last 4 years, and looking forward to the next. Does anybody else want to speak? Councillor Cohen.
Mr. Mayor, and of course, I want to salute Councillor Berku. I've worked with her for 20 years and much longer when I was a journalist for the local papers, covering her politically and interviewing her. We will miss her around the table. I will miss her frequent phone calls and her texts, but I'm sure they'll still keep going. And I do want to announce we had our Golf Classic banquet tonight and our Gardens of Distinction. And Councillor Berku has agreed to be the honoree at next summer's Golf Classic. I didn't waste any time. When she said her love for Meadowbrook, could you think of a better person to be involved? So she will be on my committee, and I want to thank her for that. So she'll be honored next summer, and that will be our way to honor Councillor Berku.
One of many ways.
Exactly. That's right. That's right. It's gonna be, and I'm no joking, it's gonna be the biggest golf classic we've ever had with Dida working on it.
No joke.
So, and we have,
the Dida
because
Berku Golf
honestly, you know what, when I wasn't a counselor, I would be the MC at the Golf Classic, but I wasn't golfing. And then 20 years ago, I started to golf, and every summer I've gone to that golf course and I say, my gosh, what a beauty we have here. We need to preserve it. You have to see it to believe it. And I know that will happen. I want to thank the mayor for giving me the local commerce portfolio this mandate. I've been very active on it, really enjoyed it, meeting our businesses on a monthly basis and getting to hear their concerns and their good words, and lots of plans, hopefully in the future, if I can continue that. This month, we gave the business of the month to Esco Carpet at the Carey Square, which has been around for 50 years, owned by Côte Saint-Lucers, who live in my district too, and the Mulevi family, and they're actually putting it up for sale. So if someone wants to buy a great business, it's for sale. I want you to know that the CATS committee will be having a raffle to help with our funding. And if anyone knows of any prizes, anyone who wants to contribute, somebody that would help give a prize that we can put in the raffle, please let me know. We'd really appreciate it. It's vital dollars that we need. Also, MikeCohen.ca, I'm proud to announce that I have a new refurbished website, brand new website. Just went online last week, so it looks like a newspaper. Surprise, surprise. My podcast, I've been going around and interviewing some young people. I just did one with 9-year-old Max Blauer. And what I'm doing is I'm teasing my podcasts on my Instagram, which now has 11,119 followers. It had 1,200 last January, so thanks for all your encouragement. And I did one with Max Blauer, and I also did one with Danny Dankoff, who I went to do a podcast with and an Instagram, one of my constituents. He is 100 years old. He golfs weekly, drives a car, lives on his own with his 98-year-old brother, 2 bachelors. And that one got about 30,000 hits on Instagram. So some wonderful people in our community. So thank you very much, and good luck to everybody in the election.
Thank you, Councillor Cohen. Anyone else? We're gonna have to move on to big stuff. Go on, Councillor Berku.
I just want to give a short report because it is very late. But at the last agglomeration meeting, and probably we should be doing this going forward. You should give a short report what goes on at the agglomeration. I presented a resolution with regard to prayers in public and protecting the peace and order in our city. And the resolution was basically asking that the agglomeration recognize that there's an issue and recognize that we should perhaps explore the recommendations from the Comité sur la laïcité, which was recommendation 36, which was to adopt policies at the local level that will allow the cities to manage this issue of politically motivated prayers in public, and not to have sort of this wall-to-wall ban, which the provincial government and the Legault and the PQ, well, the CAC and the PQ now are having this contest as to who can impose the most bans, right? So now it's like a tsunami. The PQ is going to ban religious symbols in primary for primary children, and the CAC's going to ban the face coverings and so on and so forth. They're having this huge competition. In the meantime, the municipalities are going to be the collateral damage, because once the dust settles, they're going to impose on us, the municipalities, whatever extreme banning policies that they come up with. And I felt that the agglomeration was the perfect place in order to have that discussion and see how we can apply recommendation 36, which is basically to give the municipalities the power to manage, because we know when we can approve, the Chabad Hanukkah parade and the Stations of the Cross and, the Lag BaOmer and whatever other religious celebrations that we have in the streets. I would not appreciate, and I don't think our residents would appreciate, if we were subject to these wall-to-wall measures and wall-to-wall rules. But here's the problem. The problem is that neither the Projet Montréal, the administration, wanted to talk about it. Never mind vote against it. Never mind vote for it. Never mind amend it or speak to it. They just didn't want to talk about it. And suburban mayors were pretty close to that position as well. So the whole thing got pushed off to the next council, which is going to be held in November. And that should be a pretty interesting debate. And I think the resolution is still going to be on the agenda. We're probably just going to have to change the proposer, because I was the proposer. So it's going to have to go to the mayor and to be seconded. And that's all mechanics, and we could do it. But at the same time, what happened was the mayor came because there is a brief that is exceptional. I mean, it is really fantastic, prepared, with a lot of input, but mostly by Daryl. And we collaborated on it, and it's just really great. And it talks about 6 points that needs to be done, and the mayor's been talking about it a lot. And he wanted to raise this at the agglomeration because he wrote to Mayor Plante, and she said, "Oh, well, why don't you send it to the Security Commission?" Sends it to the Security Commission. The Security Commission doesn't want to listen to it. So hopefully it's going to come up after the elections and be heard by the new Security Commission. But this raises the major problem we have here, which is that right now we're in the middle of an election campaign, and they don't want to talk about it because they don't want to. They just don't want to deal with the real and present danger, which is that we have these crazy, out of control demonstrations, and we're going to have another one on October 7th. And all the police say is, well, we're not getting orders from the administration. The administration say, talk to the police. They're just, throwing the ball from one side to the other. And I think that our brief and the Côte Saint-Luc brief and Mayor Brownstein should continue to promote it, because everyone who's running for election should be questioned. Are you in favor or against? Are you in favor of this hate speech in the streets, or are you against? Are you in favor of all this? I mean, we know where we stand at Côte Saint-Luc, but the rest of the elected officials who are running on the island of Montreal should be asked, do you want to equip the police with better tools? Do you want to do bubble zones? et cetera. All the questions that we are posing.
Right.
And I think that that's really what.
Absolutely, and
should be
and we
doing.
will
So thank you
continue.
very much. Sorry for taking.
No,
so much
not
time.
at all. I mean, I think what happened at the Aglo was a disgrace. I was interviewed by Joel Cuso today for the Canadian Jewish News, which is nice. But like I said to him, we need to get this out into other media as well and ensure that, as you said, that all of the candidates take a position because we want the safety and security of our residents, not only on Jewish issues, but improving safety and security for all Montrealers because havoc exists in Montreal today. And it's thanks to the Plante administration. I wrote to them in December, then I wrote to them again in June. And in June, they said, make a brief to the Security Commission. We did it. We were supposed to be heard. We wanted to get a date in September. We couldn't get a date in September, so we decided to post it on our website. Anybody could read it. I think it's excellent. You should take the time. And I went to the Aglo with Councillor Berku, and I tried to deposit it, but they said, oh, it's too late. We're not even hearing any more discussion. They closed the debate, and mayors walked out. Mayor Burrell and Mayor Gibson and myself, we all walked out of the meeting because it's totally undemocratic and it's only sending a signal that they don't want to speak about some very simple things, which are we want to recalibrate the policing model to stop just saying, oh, it's okay as long as nobody gets hurt, but actually make arrests when people have hate speech like globalize the intifada, and police have to understand that that means kill all the Jews, and that should not be allowed, and there should be arrests. We want them to have the backing of the politicians that will back the SPVM and ensure that what they do is supported, and they should have a body cams. The police want it, the union want it. Body cams are a great way. It's well explained in the brief, and everybody wants them, including the public, in order to ensure that the police behave well and the protesters behave well, and that it's recorded. So if there is an arrest, they could use it in court to prosecute. It deters people from doing the wrong thing, and it protects the police. And it's a little thing that would go right on their vest, their bulletproof vest, and would allow them to do their job much better. So we're asking for that. We also want an anti-mask bylaw that's going to stand. The judgment where the last anti-mask bylaw fell describes in great detail the reasons it was too broad, and a more specific anti-mask bylaw that would deal with saying you can't, when you're spewing hate speech, you can't cover your, in a protest, you can't cover your face. But if it's for religious purposes or for health reasons, that's different. That is a different type of mask than the type that's being used right now to hide their identity and to allow people to intimidate our residents, the Jewish community, and others. And we want buffer zones created in front of vulnerable institutions like hospitals, schools, and community centers. And we want to secure our universities. What's happening at McGill and Concordia makes our kids just not feel safe. So these are simple
Point
things
of
that can
order.
be done.
More than kids, staff
Kids
and
and staff,
professors.
kids and staff not feel safe. And we need to do these things, and we need to have the politicians talk about it, not just say, we're going to defer it till after the election and then do nothing. Now's the time to get your candidates to take a position, particularly if you live in the greater Montreal area. Speak to the candidates, get them to take positions, make sure that they're going to speak about the matter and not just put it under the carpet and do nothing, because the way Montreal is right now is not the way we lived in a proud community before. About 2 years ago, before October 7th, things were very different, and the community we live in now is just changed completely, and it's just not acceptable for us, and we're going to keep on pushing. And I thank Councillor Berkefall. She's done a thank you. Daryl Levine, our communications director, is a gem. He's superb, brilliant, and he knows how to do research and back up the brief. It's backed up with all kinds of case law and all kinds of examples from other jurisdictions. It's a gem, and it should be followed and read. So thank you, Daryl Levine and Councillor Berku. Our best. Keep on doing it. Keep on going. Yeah, and I do have copies. I mean, I have hard copies if anybody wants, and it's on our website. But if you want to take a hard copy, go for it. We'll put them in the back later. So that has been said. If there's nothing else on the departmental reports, I know. Moved and seconded. All in favor? Everyone's in favor? No one's opposed? Carried unanimously. We go to financial and information technology. Councillor Erdl.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that Côte Saint-Luc City Council approves the attached list of disbursements for the period of September 1st, 2025 to September 19th, 2025 for a total amount of $2,878,601.95 in Canadian funds, and that Treasurer's Certificate number 25-0137 dated September 22nd, 2025 has been issued by the City Treasurer attesting to the availability of funds to cover the above described expenses.
Moved by Councillor Erdely, seconded by Councillor Azarad. Any discussion?
So I'll just mention briefly, so this is less than our normal monthly rate, but keep in mind that this is only for about 18, 19 days, so not even a full month. And the largest item, the highlight is a purchase of a used loader for Public Works. Thank you.
So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? It's carried unanimously, and we go to item 7B. Councillor Erdely.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the loan regulations indicated in the first paragraph of the preamble be financed by bonds in accordance with the following. The bonds, one bond per maturity date shall be dated October 24, 2025. Interest shall be payable semi-annually on April 24th and October 24th of each year. The bonds shall not be redeemable prior to maturity. However, they may be redeemed with the consent of the holders in accordance with the Municipal Debts and Loans Act. The bond shall be registered in the name of CDS Clearing and Depository Services, Inc., and shall be deposited with CDS. CDS will act on behalf of its participants as book entry agent, bondholder agent, paying agent, and agent responsible for transactions to be carried out on behalf of its participants. CDS will transfer funds in accordance with the legal requirements of the bond. To this end, the board authorizes the clerk, treasurer, or treasurer to sign the document required by the Canadian banking system entitled Authorization for the Pre-Authorized Debit Plan for Business. CDS will make principal and interest payments to participants by electronic fund transfers, and for this purpose, CDS will directly debit the required amounts from the following account: Royal Bank of Canada, Cavendish and Kildare branch. That the bonds be signed by the mayor and the clerk or treasurer. The City of Côte Saint-Luc, as permitted by law, has mandated CDS to act as its financial authenticating agent, and the bonds will come into effect once they have been authenticated. Whereas with respect to the annual capital amortization scheduled for the years 2031 and thereafter, the terms provided for in borrowing bylaws number 2505, 2527, 2445, and 2523 is shorter than originally set, i.e. a term of 5 years commencing October 24, 2025. Instead of the term prescribed for said amortizations, each subsequent issue being for the balance or part of the balance due on the loan. Whereas in view of the bond loan of October 24, 2025, the original term of loan regulations number 2505, 2525, 2527, 2544, 2445, and 2523 shall be extended by 4 days.
Thank you, Councillor Erdely. So it's moved by Councillor Erdely and seconded by Councillor Azarad. Any discussion?
So just a brief description. So this is basically the city renewing, basically, I guess, renewing a mortgage, so to speak. So you can imagine these bonds go back 5 years originally. These are projects that were done or financed as of 2020. So just as one would do with their mortgage, they get a 5-year term, and after the 5 years, they have to renew. The city is doing the same. And these are loans taken out with regard to work done in the arena, the garage dome at Public Works, vehicles, work on the city hall and library envelope, and traffic lights. And hopefully with the rates having just gone down in the last few weeks, we hope that the city will get a good rate, and I'll share more, or you'll find out more at the next council meeting in terms of what rate we get. Thank you.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. All in, no? What, you already voted? Where are we at? Who moved this up so tired? Who moved and seconded it? So all in favor now? Anybody against? Carried unanimously, and now we go to C. Okay, we're going to C now. We're going to C. The tabling of the comparative statements. So you're going to do that.
So it'll
Oh,
be.
no, that's Jonathan. Jonathan.
Right, so our assistant city clerk will do the formal. Donc, l'item C, c'est juste un dépôt. Je confirme que le trésorier a déposé à la rencontre de ce soir l'état comparatif et le budget révisé suivant l'article 105.4 de la loi LCV.
Merci beaucoup. So, Mr. Mayor, if I'll just give a few of the highlights. So this is a deposit of, I guess, the revised budget report to the end of September, or almost the end of September, to September 22nd. So we're looking at approximately 900,000 of extra expenses and 900,000 of extra revenue. In terms of the expense side, the biggest additional expense is for snow, which was approximately, we foresee to be approximately 700,000 more than when budgeted. This is largely based on the huge amount of snow we received in February earlier this year. If you recall, we had two snowstorms, 40 centimeters back to back. On the revenue side, the largest items are we had a slight increase we're predicting a slight increase in transfer duties, interest payments, and government grants. But overall, it will be a neutral budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Erdely. All those in favor?
You don't have to vote.
Oh,
Tabling.
Sorry. We're still in favor, okay. Okay. So I just don't know the number. 8-8, okay.
Yeah, and
So-
we have a special guest tonight also.
Thank you, Tanya. Okay, so we, who wants to move the adoption of the strategic plan? We need a mover and a seconder. Okay. So it's me and Stephen, or Stephen, me and me?
So it's you, actually.
It's actually me, but if someone else wants to do it, I'm perfectly happy. Okay, so Lior and Mitch Kajavsky.
And do we want to vote and then?
No,
allow
we have the
consent?
presentation first.
Okay.
So I
Thank you,
put them
Tanya
out at the back of the room because, I mean, I didn't want them to be taken by the blue collars, but if you want a copy, you have strategic plan en français et en anglais. Okay. Good evening, bonsoir. Tonight, council will be adopting the city's first ever strategic plan. This document is not the same thing as the master plan, though the two are complementary and speak to one another. We've been working on the strategic plan for a little while, and tonight it's going to be adopted. In terms of public input, the city conducted numerous sets of consultations for the master plan between 2022 and 2025, with a total of 3,119 people and 25 organizations participating in numerous events. We received incredible useful information about the city and how people feel about it and what they would like to see far beyond the scope of that plan. And also in the spirit of keeping expenses low, we decided to use the information that we got because it was good. In addition, the city conducted 2 consultation events with seniors this year. We also did a comprehensive SWOT analysis with staff from across all city departments and levels, as well as councillors. The strategic plan framework is as follows. Next slide, please. So obviously it begins with a vision, and then this is based upon a set of values. And then we have our priorities, which are called key focus areas, then strategic goals for each of those priorities, then objectives for each of those goals, and then intervention strategies, which are basically action items. So the vision for the city, the heart of Côte Saint-Luc is its people who feel safe and are empowered to pursue every aspect of their well-being in a respectful, dynamic, enriching, inclusive, and empathetic environment where diversity and bilingualism are considered strengths and unity is created by a sense of engagement and the common pursuit of the collective good. And the following values underpin the vision for the city and the organization. Next slide. I hope you're following me. Yeah. Respect, responsiveness, empathy, and community mindedness. Now, the priorities for the city in the strategic plan are called key focus areas. I won't get into the details of the objectives and intervention strategies for any of them because I only have a few minutes, but I do invite you to look at the document. It's all available in detail, and this will also be posted on our website probably tomorrow, I would imagine. So the first priority is safety and security. Next slide, please. And within that, the first goal is increased safety and the perception of safety. That's the next slide, Daryl. The objectives for this goal all boil down to updating our own preparedness measures. We certainly have measures, but we want to update them, making sure our residents are aware of them and help beef up their own preparedness and confidence, and ensuring our staff know what to do in all kinds of situations. We also focus on risk assessment and prevention at multiple levels. The next goal in the safety and security focus area is increase road safety. Next slide, Daryl. We want to prioritize pedestrian safety, create a safe bicycle network, and reduce vehicle speeds. The third goal in this key focus area is protect the city's most vulnerable populations. The city of Côte Saint-Luc has a significant number of vulnerable residents, which include people of low income, les enfants, les personnes âgées, people with disabilities, people with chronic illnesses, les nouveaux arrivants, and people living alone. Moreover, there are certain areas in the city with higher concentrations of vulnerable people than others. While not the exclusive domain of the municipality, the city has a role to play in supporting vulnerable populations. This goal builds upon all we've learned from COVID, from the Living Lab, from departments who see resident issues firsthand, from consulting with people, and also from the census data, because we don't often hear from vulnerable people. We want to strengthen the partnerships with organizations that can support our residents and to improve their access to resources and help increase food and housing security. Now we'll move on to the second priority or key focus area, which is fixed city infrastructure. Now we heard from the residents over and over and over again, the new developments are very nice. Can you please fix the city first? So we have a large amount of infrastructure in Côte Saint-Luc, which includes buildings, including chalets, sanitary blocks, roads and sidewalks, and everything connected to them, from street lamps to traffic lights, signage, underpasses, all the pipes, parks and green infrastructure, including sports fields, play equipment, trees, shade structures, fencing, pathways, and more. Plus, we have other assets, including everything from vehicles and security cameras to server rooms, furniture, and all that. Those are not really infrastructure, though. Now, 1 kilometer of road costs about $4 million today, which makes resurfacing them slow going. Plus, there's pipe replacement, the Côte Saint-Luc underpass, building repairs, which need to be done in the next few years, with no more sources of funding. So what can be done to help start dealing with this intractable problem? There are 2 streams of solutions. So the first, Daryl, the first goal is maximize land value. Through planning tools like the planning program, master plan, and especially the zoning bylaw, we are moving towards a model that maximizes land use as much as possible. This entire goal is linked with the master plan and speaks to it because that is the way we are going to be able to deal with our infrastructure issues. Land is finite, so when we look at it, we have to get the most value for it. If you go to the next slide, Daryl, you'll see that value, the land on the left, is worth a certain amount, but we can yield so much more in taxes from the kind of development that's on the right. So higher density mixed use development on the mall sites is one way to do that, but in lower density areas, other measures can be employed. We need to understand the metrics of land value too. Now, the vision for the mall sites, soft densification, and everything tied to the urban fabric are part of the planning program, the zoning bylaw and other urban planning bylaws, rather than the strategic plan. So we don't talk about those. They're really connected through this particular goal. So we make a nod to the master plan, but the focus here is really on the impact on our capacity to deal with infrastructure. The second stream of this focus area is asset management. The city has 80 kilometers of streets, 140 kilometers of sidewalks, 3 underpasses, 32 parks, several buildings and chalets, in addition to a few hundred kilometers of pipes, all of which require maintenance and eventual replacement. The costs for doing so have never been higher, and the capacity to pay has not increased, necessitating an examination of alternative strategies. So what goal is associated with this? Next slide, please. Goal 5, devise a long-range infrastructure strategy. And here we look at asset management, but also alternative sources of revenue. The next key focus area, next slide please, Daryl, is building community. And this one really grew directly from the SWOT analysis. We want to engage both external and internal communities to promote harmony and common purpose. We also want to be a better organization. So tied to this is goal 6, next slide please, Daryl. Prioritize communication and education. We've never done more community engagement with the public than we do now and have in the last couple of years, but we've arrived at a level of maturity that it should be formalized and systematized. We want to further engage our residents, educate them on how the city works, and be transparent in our reporting of how projects are going. Internal community engagement is also part of this. Finally, we have the last goal, which is increased community cohesion. Next. The last goal, we want to create opportunities and spaces for increasing social interactions at the neighborhood and community level on the resident side, and also increase interdepartmental knowledge and cohesion. So in sum, if you just look at the table of the key focus areas, those are the 3 key focus areas with the goals underneath them. And if you want more details of this, like I said, I invite you to look at the actual plan. I am done. Thank you.
Tanya Abramovich, thank you very much. So the strategic plan was a lot of work, and thank you for leading it. We came a long way, and it's important to have a strategic plan. And I think our goals are very clear, and they reflect the concerns of the residents, and they mesh with the master plan that will be coming after the election that we're moving forward on, in order to ensure that we have sufficient housing, sufficient quality of life, commercial and residential apartments, condos, and money to support the infrastructure improvements and the safety and security that we want to, that we're talking about in the strategic plan. So I think it's a great step. We need to have a strategic plan. We have one. And like I always say, our directors team, I was lucky to inherit a directors team that I've kept them all for the last almost 10 years. And it's like a business, and you can't run a good business without good directors. So thank you, Tanya Abramovich, and all our directors, each who run their department, who really have the experience and knowledge to know what they're doing and help us move the city forward based on the concerns of the council and the residents of Côte Saint-Luc. And this is a great plan. So thank you very much for the presentation. Anybody else want to comment on it? Councillor Spag.
Tanya,
Safety and security.
want to thank Tanya for all the work. Obviously, a lot has been put into it. Thank you for putting goal number 1 as I know it's the actual strategic plan based on all the data and the goal of safety and security, which I hold to heart as my portfolio is impeccable. The fact that you put in the public safety station as well to modernize it, which is a plan that I've put through with this council for about 3 years now. So thank you very much for that. And I love the picture of the goal. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it's the VCOPs. So you didn't see it? You're front and center. You're literally front and center. Yeah. I didn't know you didn't know, but it's right there. So great picture, great initiative. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to voting yes on this.
Great. Terrific. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you're right in there. I saw they turned the pages now. Yeah, there they are. Okay, so it was moved by Councillor Azarat and seconded by Councillor Kajavsky? What? It is moved by Councillor Azarat and seconded by Councillor Kajavsky. Okay, any other discussion? So all in favor? Oh, we didn't, oh, you did not read the, let's see. Okay, so Councillor, you didn't read it. Okay, so Councillor Azarat, you want to read the resolution? Councillor Azarat's going to read the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I wasn't in the room, sorry.
Be it resolved that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council hereby adopts the Côte Saint-Luc Strategic Plan 2025-2030 dated September 29th, 2025, and annexed herewith as Annex A, that the strategic plan shall be used to inform annual budgeting, departmental plans, and performance measurement, that the strategic plan shall be reviewed and updated at least once every 5 years, or as deemed necessary by council to reflect evolving community needs and priorities, that the city management is directed to oversee the implementation of the strategic plan and report progress towards strategic objectives to council on a quarterly basis, that the strategic plan be made publicly available through the municipal website and other appropriate channels to ensure transparency and community access.
So that was been moved by Councillor Azarat, seconded by Councillor Kajavsky. Any further discussion? Anything else anybody wants to say? All in favor? Anyone opposed? So it's carried unanimously, and that's a very good thing considering that we are all here today, all the full council, and we all support the strategic plan, all of us together, and that's how we work. We spend the time and then we find a way to have consensus and reflect the needs of the residents and the council. So congratulations to you all, and thank you very much. And now we move on to the next item. Item 9A, Councillor Berku, a resolution to receive pecuniary interest of Councillor Cohen.
Okay, thank you. Be it resolved that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council officially declares that such statement of pecuniary interest has been received from Councillor Mike Cohen and instructs the city clerk to deposit same in the archives of the city, as well as to send the official list of those who filed their declaration to the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Habitation. And this is in virtue of the Elections Act. Thank you.
Moved by Councillor Berku and seconded by Councillor Sabag, I believe.
Yeah, so it's
Discussion?
because Councillor Cohen was acclaimed last time. He is the first councillor to deposit his declaration of pecuniary interest within 60 days of his election or the anniversary of his election. So that would have been maybe the 60, like October, what? Because we're not sitting in October.
Right, so
Okay.
I guess the graph, for precautionary reasons, had him file it now.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. All in favor of Councillor Cohen's pecuniary interest statement? Anyone
Sure, it's not
opposed?
premature.
Anyone
Well,
opposed?
he would have to, if, assuming things would evolve, he or whoever would have to file another one.
No, but it's not, are we within 60 days of the anniversary?
We're,
Yes, we are.
yeah,
Yeah, we're within 60 days of the anniversary, for sure.
oh,
We're within 60 days of the anniversary before it, but we're within it.
Where I think it might be premature, I don't know.
yes, I understand your point. You were acclaimed in October 1st.
No, you can't be acclaimed October.
He was acclaimed October 1st, 2021.
So this may be superfluous. I hear what you're saying. 'Cause
Premature by 2 days, maybe, unless it's.
yeah,
Worst comes to worst, you'll have to do it again.
yeah.
I'll survive.
No worry, no worry. They're gonna really do it, approve you twice. Okay, so it's been approved, hopefully correctly. The next is item number 9B, approval of an encroachment agreement at 5598 Edgemore. Councillor Benizri.
Yes. Merci, Monsieur le maire. Est résolu que le conseil municipal de la ville de Côte Saint-Luc accepte par la présente l'édit accord d'empiètement avec les propriétaires et ratifie la signature de la greffière de la ville pour l'accord d'empiètement. Que la greffière de la ville soit par les présentes autorisée à signer au nom de la ville un acte de servitude de tolérance pour donner effet à l'accord d'empiètement submentionné.
Proposé par le conseiller Benizri, appuyé par le conseiller Schuster. Est-ce qu'il y a des discussions?
Alors, on vient de régler un problème qui perdurait depuis quelques années, et puis je suis très content qu'on ait trouvé une solution.
Okay, tout le monde en faveur? Okay, anyone, Councillor Cohen, you're in favor?
Yes.
Anyone opposed? It's carried unanimously, and we go to the next one, which is 9C. Bylaw concerning the rules of internal management and procedure of council meetings. Councillor Berku.
Il est proposé que le règlement intitulé Règlement concernant les règles de régie interne et de procédure des séances du conseil soit et par les présentes adopté.
OK, proposé par le conseiller Berku, appuyé par le conseiller Erdely. Est-ce qu'il y a des discussions?
These are just, we're just updating the rules of internal management and procedure at council meetings. We made certain amendments, which I think are going to be very practical and useful going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? It's carried unanimously. And now we go to Public Works. Councilor Ben-Israel is going to get busy. So 10A to start.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Et résolu que le conseil municipal de la ville de Côte Saint-Luc approuve par la présente le contrat conclu avec Bunzl Nettoyage et Hygiène pour l'achat de produits sanitaires au cours de l'année 2025 pour un montant total de 33 000 $ plus les taxes applicables. Que le certificat du trésorier numéro 25-0134 a été émis le 19 septembre 2025 par le trésorier de la ville, attestant de la disponibilité des fonds pour couvrir les dépenses décrites.
Proposé par le conseiller Ben-Israel, appuyé par le conseiller Schuster. Oui. Est-ce qu'il y a des discussions? No, it's for sanitary supplies for 2025. So all in favor? Anyone opposed? It's carried unanimously. And then we go to 10B. Councilor Ben-Israel.
Oui, merci, Monsieur le maire. Je vais juste trouver exact la page. Voilà. Et résolu que le conseil municipal de la ville de Côte Saint-Luc octroie par la présente un contrat à Turf Care pour l'achat d'un tracteur pour terrain de baseball pour un montant de 36 840 $ plus les taxes applicables. Que les dépenses décrites seront financées à partir du règlement d'emprunt numéro 2649, que le certificat du trésorier numéro 25-0129 a été émis le 19 septembre 2025 par le trésorier de la ville attestant de la disponibilité des fonds pour couvrir les dépenses décrites.
Proposé par le conseiller Ben-Israel, appuyé par le conseiller Tafki. Est-ce qu'il y a des discussions? No, it's not electric, but it's the purchase of one baseball diamond tractor.
It's
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Everybody approves the baseball diamond tractor. Carried unanimously. And then we go to C, Councilor Ben-Israel. Item C.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just finding my page here. Et résolu que le conseil municipal de la ville de Côte Saint-Luc octroie par la présente un contrat à Équipement Saint-Germain Incorporé pour la location de 2 niveleuses pour une période de 3 mois débutant le 1er janvier 2026 et se terminant le 1er avril 2026 pour un montant total de 72 000 $ plus les taxes applicables. Qu'un certificat du trésorier sera émis par le trésorier de la ville en janvier 2026 pour attester la disponibilité des fonds pour couvrir les dépenses décrites.
Proposé par le conseiller Ben-Israel et appuyé par le conseiller Azarad, je pense. Est-ce qu'il y a des discussions? So it's for the rental of 2 graders for snow removal. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? It's carried unanimously. We go to item D. Councilor Ben-Israel.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just here. Et résolu que le conseil municipal de la ville de Côte Saint-Luc octroie par la présente un contrat à équipement récréatif Jambette Incorporé pour l'achat d'équipements de parc pour le parc Brownstein pour un montant de 74 977 $ plus les taxes applicables. Que les dépenses décrites soient financées à partir du compte de surplus accumulé de la ville, que le certificat du trésorier numéro 25-0136 a été émis le 22 septembre 2025 par le trésorier de la ville attestant de la disponibilité des fonds pour couvrir les dépenses décrites.
Proposé par le conseiller Ben-Israel, appuyé par le conseiller Kachowski. OK. Est-ce qu'il y a des discussions? Non.
Très content. J'aimerais dire que, vu que c'est dans le district 7, je suis très content qu'on est en train de rénover le parc. Dernièrement, on a installé des toilettes avec... et là, en ce moment, on est en train vraiment de changer l'équipement. Alors, ça va être pour l'année prochaine. Nos résidents vont bien profiter de cette installation.
Park, we're trying to get park equipment and improve the park equipment in all of our parks, as many as possible. So this is a great addition for this park. So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Carried unanimously. And now we move to item E. Le conseiller Benizri.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Est résolu que le conseil municipal de la ville de Côte Saint-Luc octroie par la présente un contrat pour la rénovation des toilettes du chalet numéro 3 du parc Elliott Trudeau à Groupe Rodrigue pour un montant de 35 552 $ et 83 cents plus ses taxes applicables. Que les dépenses décrites seront financées intégralement à partir du compte de surplus accumulé de la ville. Que le certificat du trésorier numéro 25-0106 a été émis le 29 juillet 2025 par le trésorier de la ville attestant de la disponibilité des fonds pour couvrir les dépenses décrites ci-haut.
Proposé pour le conseiller Benizri, appuyé par le conseiller Schuster. Est-ce qu'il y a des discussions? So these are for the washroom renovations at Pierre Elliott Trudeau Park, chalet number 3. Very important renovation. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried unanimously. And now we move to item F, the conseiller Benizri.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Est résolu que le conseil municipal de la ville de Côte Saint-Luc octroie par la présente un contrat pour la location de 3 camions 12 roues avec opérateur à les entreprises Marc Legault pour une période de 5 mois débutant le 1er novembre 2025 et se terminant le 1er avril 2026 pour un montant total de 88 800 $ plus ses taxes applicables. Que le certificat du trésorier numéro 25-0135 a été émis par le trésorier de la ville le 19 septembre 2025 pour attester de la disponibilité des fonds pour couvrir les dépenses décrites.
Proposé pour le conseiller Benizri, appuyé pour le conseiller Azarad. Est-ce qu'il y a des discussions? It's the rental of 3 12-wheelers and operators for snow removal. So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? It's carried unanimously. And we go to purchasing and general counsel, item 11A, Councillor Erdely.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the City of Côte Saint-Luc Council hereby approves joining the STM and City of Montreal group tender for the supply and delivery of various fuels such as gasoline, heating oil, dyed diesel, and clear diesel, that the city entrusts the STM and the City of Montreal with the mandate to prepare on its behalf and on behalf of other interested municipalities the group tender documents and to act as the contract coordinators. That Maitre Andrea Sharon, General Counsel, and/or Mrs. Elena Zilberman, Manager of Purchasing, be designated as the city's representative for these group tenders, and for this purpose be authorized to provide any relevant information and sign any required documents.
Moved by Councillor Erdely, seconded by Councillor Cohen. Any discussion?
So I'll just mention briefly, we've been part of the group tender with the City of Montreal for more than 10 years now. This is to extend it for a new term of 3 years with 2 optional years. And generally, by doing this, we are able to secure better rates for gasoline. I'll just add, we are, of course, purchasing more and more electric vehicles and hope to slowly phase out the need for fossil fuels. But of course, it's much harder for the larger vehicles. So until that point, we still have to do this group tender. Thank you.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? No, so that one's carried. And we move to item 12, recreation. Councillor Schuster.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that Côte Saint-Luc City Council hereby authorizes the city's general counsel to negotiate the terms and to sign the letter of agreement with Avalanche Kids Hockey in regards to the financial contribution from the city to the organization for the 2025-2026 season.
Moved by Councillor Schuster, seconded by Councillor Kajewski. Any discussion?
Just a brief explanation that Avalanche Kids is a hockey program that provides hockey for low-income and at-risk youth, neurodiverse kids, and kids that struggle to fit into the traditional competitive hockey model programs. And due to the vast demand on our arena, some hockey groups need to go elsewhere. And so we've chosen to subsidize this program to ensure its stability and that it services the city and our youth very well.
Thank you, Councillor Schuster. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? It's carried unanimously. We move to item 13A. Councillor Kajewski. 13A.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that Côte Saint-Luc City Council hereby awards a contract for the traffic study related to the Côte Saint-Luc Shopping Mall to IGF Axiom Inc. for the amount of $37,967 plus applicable taxes, that the city may consider an amount of 10% plus applicable taxes for any potential contingencies and extras if required, that shall first be approved according to the city's procedures, that Treasurer's Certificate number 25-0131 dated September 17th, 2025 has been issued by the city treasurer attesting to the availability of funds to cover the described expenses.
Moved by Councillor Kajewski, seconded by Councillor Azarad. Any discussion?
It's fairly self-explanatory. So this is for a traffic study related to the shopping center on Woodson Road and surrounding areas for a potential, hopefully soon, redevelopment of the mall to make sure that traffic flows properly through potential new development.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? It's carried unanimously, and we move to 13B. Councillor Kajewski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council hereby awards a contract for the renovation of the changing rooms at the Parkhaven Pool to Pichet Construction for the amount of $754,790 plus applicable taxes. That furthermore, the city may consider an amount of 10% plus applicable taxes for any potential contingencies and extras if required, that shall first be approved according to the city's procedures, that the described expenses shall be financed from the loan bylaw number 2608, that Treasurer's Certificate number 25-0128 has been issued by the city's treasurer on September 16th, 2025, attesting to the availability of funds to cover the above described expenses, that the Director of Urban Development is hereby appointed to proceed with the evaluation of Pichet Construction's performance within this contract.
Moved by Councillor Kajewski, seconded by Councillor Azarad. Any discussion?
Yes, this is very exciting. Very kind of overdue, I guess. These are the renovations to the locker rooms, changing rooms at Parkhaven Pool that I don't know what they date to. A long time. It's been difficult to clean it for a while. Even when it's clean, it doesn't look clean, but this is it's going to be great for the pool, great for the community. Very exciting. We've been looking forward to this for quite a while. It's been the capital budget for 3 years or so. And if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the lowest bidder did come in under budget, but you know.
And I learned to swim at that pool, and I think the locker rooms were the same then. I don't know. It's been a long time. Yeah. But no, it's great. It's great that we're doing this. I don't know. Maybe we've had some renovations over the years, but yeah, it's needed. Moved and seconded.
The rooms themselves have changed.
Oh, yeah. Rooms are changed.
Oh, ironic.
It is.
It's good.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? And then we move on to Urban Developments 14.1. Architectural Integration Program, 14.11, 5614, Sir Winston Churchill. Councillor Kajewski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll start and it'll pop up on the screen magically behind me. Be it resolved that the site planning and architectural integration program showing rear and lateral facade modifications to the existing detached single-family dwelling on lot 156-1611 and prepared by Ariel Laurent Architect for the Planning Advisory Committee meeting of September 2nd, 2025, be approved according to the provisions of Chapter 14 of Bylaw 2217 of the City of Côte Saint-Luc.
Moved by Councillor Kajewski, seconded by Councillor Israel. I believe that's his district. Any discussion?
No, there we go. See it on the screen. Pretty straightforward facade modifications to a home on Sir Winston Churchill. That's what it said.
All in favor? No one's opposed. Carried unanimously. And now 660 West Luke. Councillor Kajewski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the site planning and architectural integration program showing the construction of a carport attached to the existing semi-detached single-family dwelling on lot 129-0467 and prepared for the Planning Advisory Committee meeting of September 2nd, 2025, be approved according to the provisions of Chapter 14 of Bylaw 2217 of the City of Côte Saint-Luc.
Moved by Councillor Kajewski, seconded by Councillor Erdeling. Any discussion?
It is a nice carport.
It's a night. Moved and seconded, all in favor? Carried unanimously, and we go to Borden, 5581 Borden. Councillor Kajewski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the site planning and architectural integration program showing modifications made during construction of a rear extension and second story addition on the detached single-family dwelling on lot 1560638 when prepared for the Planning Advisory Committee meeting of September 2nd, 2025, be approved as built and according to the provisions of Chapter 14 of Bylaw 2217 of the City of Côte Saint-Luc.
Moved by Councillor Kajewski and seconded by, this is Borden?
Correct.
So Councillor Berku? Okay. Any discussion?
I'm going to, as usual, wave my finger at the unnamed homeowner who made modifications during construction and didn't build the house according to spec. Don't do that. In this case, it happened to be not too much of a difference, and therefore the Planning Advisory Committee was able to recommend to approve it as built, but build your homes according to the plans submitted to the city. Thank you.
So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? It's carried unanimously. We move to West 5717 Westminster. Councillor Kajewski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the site planning and architectural integration program showing facade modifications to the existing detached single-family dwelling on lot 1052867 and prepared for the Planning Advisory Committee meeting of September 2nd, 2025, be approved according to the provisions of Chapter 14 of Bylaw 2217 of the City of Côte Saint-Luc.
Moved by Councillor Kajewski and seconded by Councillor Azarad. Any discussion?
Very nice modification to a home that's on a lot of people's route on Westminster, near the corner of Guelph. One of the entrances to the city in effect. So, yep, very nice.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor? No one's opposed? Carried unanimously. We go to 5713 Smart. Councillor Kajewski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the site planning and architectural integration program showing modifications made during construction of a second story addition, an adjustment on the front facade to install aluminum panels below the second story windows, and to complete the construction of the front entrance canopy as per the originally approved project on the detached single family dwelling on lot 1052712 and prepared for the Planning Advisory Committee meeting of September 2nd, 2025, be approved according to the provisions of Chapter 14 of Bylaw 2217 of the City of Côte Saint-Luc.
Okay, so it's moved by Councillor Kajewski, seconded by Councillor, this one is Lior, Councillor Azarad. Any discussion?
Continuously waving my finger still. Again, repeat from my previous comments, but building according to your plans, please, and thank you.
Thank you. Moved and seconded, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried unanimously, and now we go into minor exemptions, 5611 Pinedale. Councillor Kajewski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that in accordance with the provisions of bylaw number 2632, the request for a minor exemption regarding the property located 5611 Pinedale, lot 2090268 be and is hereby approved, the whole as more amply delineated hereunder. The request is to allow the construction of a driveway with the paved area at a minimum distance of 0.5 feet from the west lateral landline instead of the minimum required distance between the paved area and the lateral landline of 2 feet. The existing pathway in the west lateral yard to maintain its minimum distance of 0.5 feet from the west lateral landline instead of the minimum required distance of 2 feet from any property line. The whole notwithstanding the provisions of zoning bylaw number 2217, Article 723B and Article 445H.
Moved by Councillor Kajewski, seconded by Pinedale. Councillor Berku. Any discussion?
It's self-explanatory in the resolution.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried unanimously. Now we go to 6845 Haywood. Councillor Kajewski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that in accordance with the provisions of bylaw number 2632, the request for minor exemption regarding the property located at 6845 Haywood, lot 1561610 be and is hereby approved, the whole as more amply delineated hereunder. The request is to allow the existing detached single-family dwelling built in 1980 under permit numbers 1976-03580 and 1980-03929 to maintain its current north lateral setback at a minimum distance of 3.57 meters instead of the minimum required lateral setback of 3.65 meters. A deck located at the rear of the main building with a minimum distance of 1.6 meters from the rear landline instead of the minimum required distance of 3.05 meters from the rear landline. The combination of a balcony, a deck, and a patio in the rear yard of the main building with a maximum total area of 58% instead of the maximum permitted area of 50% of the said rear yard. The whole, notwithstanding the provisions of zoning bylaw number 2217, Annex B, Zone RU 32, Article 443, Article 445, and Article 446.
Moved by Councillor Kajewski, seconded by Councillor Ministry. Any discussion?
Again, self-explanatory per the resolution.
Okay, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried unanimously, and we go to 5713 Smart.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that in accordance with the provisions of bylaw number 2632, the request for a minor exemption regarding the property located at 5713 Spartan, lot 1052712, being is hereby approved, the whole as more amply delineated hereunder. The request is to allow the height of the two-story detached single-family dwelling to be at a maximum of 8.5 meters instead of the maximum permitted height of approximately 7.43 meters measured from the city sidewalk as per zoning bylaw 2217, which states that the maximum authorized height of any building in the concerned zone shall be neither inferior nor superior by more than 25% in relation to the average height of the neighboring buildings located at less than 30 meters on the same side of the street. The whole, notwithstanding the provisions of zoning bylaw number 2217, Annex B, Zone RU20, and Article 1411-4.
Moved by Councillor Kajewski, seconded by Councillor Azarad. Any discussion? We've already discussed it.
Yes.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried and unanimously 5598 Edgemore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that in accordance with provisions of bylaw number 2632, the request for a minor exemption regarding the property located at 5598 Edgemore, lot 1054445, be and is hereby approved. The whole as more amply delineated hereunder. The request is to allow the combination of a balcony and a patio in the rear yard of the main building with a maximum total area of 75% instead of the maximum permitted area of 50% of the said rear yard. A patio adjacent to a swimming pool located at the rear of the main building with minimum distance of 0.15 meters from the south lateral landline instead of the minimum required distance of 0.91 meters from the landline. When the said swimming pool is located at more than 1.83 meters from the said landline and at a minimum distance of 0.23 meters from the rear landline instead of the minimum required distance of 0.60 meters when the said swimming pool is located at 1.83 meters or less from the said landline. I can't believe I actually followed that. I did. Wow. Oh my God.
Moved by.
No,
Councillor-
there's more. A patio located at the rear of the main building with a minimum setback of 0.16 meters from the secondary front landline instead of the minimum required setback of 0.91 meters from the said landline. And a pathway in the secondary front yard with a maximum width of 2.5 meters instead of the maximum permitted width of 1.2 meters, and to be located at a minimum distance of 0.58 meters from the secondary front landline instead of the minimum required distance of 0.60 meters from any property line. The whole, notwithstanding the provisions of zoning bylaw number 2217, Article 441, Article 443, Article 445, and Article 446.
Moved by Councillor Kajewski, seconded by Councillor Benisri, I think, for Edgemore. Benisri. Any discussion?
Well, my last chance to discuss pack items, so.
Okay, so it's.
Okay, so I'll discuss whatever happens in this election, whether I am re-elected or not, and I see my opponent here, Rosie, welcome. And
We're
whether or
voting
not
on
I'm
this,
going to be
though.
chair of the pack.
We have to vote
This
on
is, yeah, but before we
it's on
vote,
this
then I'm not
side.
going to talk anymore.
Oh, you
So
want
it
to talk
has
on
been-
this?
I will say, thank you to your urban planning team for helping guide me, and Councillor Berku too, for allowing me, permitting me. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for chairing the Planning Advisory Committee this mandate. It's been fun. It's been a learning experience, big time. Like I actually followed that minor exemption. It's wild. So anyway, thank you to staff and good luck to all.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Kajewski. So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? No, but you're, for a conflict of interest, you can, okay. Potential conflict of interest, Councillor Sabag is abstaining and it carries. Now we can do, Councillor Sabag stands at the end. Potential conflict, yes, for a potential conflict. You were out of the room? Right. Okay. Well, you weren't out of the room, so whatever, or you could tell you everything. Sister of the business.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
It's good to state the overall nature of the interest, which is fine. Yeah, okay. Okay, so the clerk. is-
That's at the aggro. It's fine.
Yeah.
He wants to do it, it's fine.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, that the council take the following stance in view of any agglomeration council meeting to be held in November 2025 as follows: to authorize the mayor or his duly authorized replacement to make any decisions he deems necessary and in the best interest of the city of Côte Saint-Luc and its residents regarding the items on the agenda of the agglomeration council meeting to be held in November 2025, based on the information to be presented during those meetings.
Moved by Councillor Sabag, seconded by Councillor Azarad. Councillor Berku. Give the second. Any discussion? All in favor? It is carried. Is there any other business? Go ahead.
One piece of other business, upcoming in October, when we're not meeting, is the Enchanted Forest on Sunday, October 26th, from 5:30 to 8 PM in Trudeau Park. If you haven't been to this wonderful Halloween event, it's a glow-in-the-dark circus performance that you follow along the path along Trudeau. I've seen from babies to Zadies come and enjoy, and just dress warmly, dress up, and please come and have fun.
And go through it twice. Do it once when it's light and once after dark.
That is true too. That is true too.
Okay, one thing before, I want, Daryl, since this is a very special moment, I want to, in a minute, for us all to join for an official picture. It's the last time we're going to be all together, so I'd like to take a picture. If you'd put something on the screen here of Dida in the background, we'll take a picture of all of us in front of it. That would be great. It has been a great privilege and honor. This last 4 years have been absolute delight working with all of you. Each and every one of you have been a pleasure, and staff have been superb. And that's what made the job really worthwhile. It was a lot of fun. We got a lot of things done. We got a lot of issues moved forward, but more importantly, it was enjoyable, and it was an enjoyable experience thanks to you all. And that's why I'm running again, because I had so much fun, and I like having fun. So I hope that the next council will be as kind, caring, and compassionate as you guys have all been. So thank you all, and let's take a picture. I was thinking of two pictures, one with them. Yeah. Do you want us to adjourn? Okay.
Do we have any?
Is there any questions? No questions? Any second questions? Okay, call for adjournment.
So moved.
All in favor? We're adjourned except for the photo. Thank you. Photo time. Thank you, guys.